Chapter 311. Zhao Feng agreed without hesitation. In the Canopy Great Country, he didn't have a foothold. In the 13 countries, he didn't even have a place to stay. Right now, he was like a duckweed without roots, drifting aimlessly. Ever since the end of the Alliance banquet, Zhao Feng was at the lowest point of his life. After entering the Great Country, he was chased by the major forces. This could be said to be the worst period of his life. Since the Iron Blood religion had helped Zhao Feng, even if it was a wicked force, Zhao Feng wouldn't reject it. After going through so many ups and downs, he no longer had a clear distinction between good and evil, right and wrong. Furthermore, in Zhao Feng's heart, there was another wish. Once he had enough strength, he would kill his way back to the 13 countries and change the situation of his home and clan. Zhao Feng, the reason I appreciated you before was because of your special eye bloodline. However, you escaped from the flooding Lake City, won the battle in the Water Moon Treasury, and now kidnapped Empress Qin and escaped unscathed. I have a higher opinion of your talent, potential and courage. The blood-hair-colored man Tiamat's smile was mysterious. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. He didn't think that all his actions hadn't escaped the Iron Blood religion's sight. Running away from the wedding and kidnapping the princess were both sensational events. The Water Moon Treasury was in a very remote area and hadn't been there for long. For the Iron Blood religion to be able to find the truth so quickly, their power couldn't be underestimated. There's another great fortune that I'm inviting you to join the Iron Blood religion. Maybe you can try it. The blood-hair-colored man paused. Great fortune. Zhao Feng was very sensitive to these words. He could be sure that the Water Moon Treasury wasn't a great fortune in Tiamat's eyes. Of the Water Moon 4 treasures, only the 3-flowered treasured lotus could enter his eyes. That's the largest sacred true dragon gathering of the Azure Flower continent. Every genius that participates in the sacred true dragon gathering will attract the providence of the continent. The geniuses that participate will come from all over the continent and every one of them is a prodigy of the heavens. The blood-hair-colored man said. Sacred True Dragon Gathering. Back when Zhao Feng was in the 13 countries, he had read about the true dragon geniuses in some ancient records. He didn't think that the true source would be here. The 13 countries of Cloud were too far away, and many of them were isolated from the outside world. This was normal. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering is the stage of the entire continent and the eyes of the entire continent will be gathered here. For the majority of geniuses, even if they could only show their skills on stage, they would have no regrets. Unfortunately, most geniuses don't even have the qualifications to participate. The crimson-haired man could not help but sigh. Zhao Feng was speechless. How many geniuses were there in the entire continent? According to Empress Qin's example, the cloud country that Zhao Feng lived in was a remote village. Above the village, there were towns, cities, and capitals. A village like Zhao Feng, Xian Wuheng, Beimua, Zhang Yuyue, Zhao Yufei, Lin Tong, how many of these geniuses were there in the continent? How many of them were stronger than this one? Thinking up to here, Zhao Feng couldn't help but become excited and the blood in his body started to boil. Tiamat saw the change in Zhao Feng's expression and smiled, holding the sacred true dragon gathering gathers enough providence and there's a chance to connect with the inheritances. For example, the Heaven's Legacy inheritance and Seven Sword inheritance. Of course, these inheritances are extremely rare, especially the Heaven's Legacy inheritance which only appears once every 10,000 years and has a 1 in 100 chance. Through the Sacred True Dragon Gathering, there's a chance to connect with the inheritances outside. Zhao Feng understood. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering attracted the attention of the entire continent. The 10 great clans, great countries, and sects would probably all send their geniuses to participate. If one could participate in the Sacred True Dragon Gathering, it meant that they could fight with geniuses from all over the continent. Will there be a chance to meet the geniuses of the 13 countries or the Iron Dragon Strong country? Zhao Feng suddenly had a thought. According to normal thinking, the possibility wasn't high. The 13 countries were too far away and the Iron Dragon's strong country might have a chance. However, thinking about it, the 13 cloud countries might have already become part of the Iron Dragon country's territory. This situation was not certain. Zhao Feng didn't know that the reason why First Elder was able to send him far away was because he had connections with the elders of the other clans. Deputy Patriarch, do you want me to participate in the sacred True Dragon gathering? Zhao Feng suppressed the excitement in his heart. Fighting with all the geniuses of the continent and having a chance to step out of the continent and enter the inheritances was definitely something worth looking forward to and excited about. Hee, Zhao Feng, you're overestimating yourself. Although your bloodline, potential, courage and other aspects are all perfect, with your skill, even if you entered the sacred True Dragon gathering, it would be not bad if you could enter the top 1000. If you can't reach the top 100, you won't have much value to the Iron Blood religion. A playful smile appeared on the blood-haired man's lips. Zhao Feng paused slightly. He didn't have the right to participate in the sacred True Dragon gathering. You've always stayed in a small village and underestimated the peak geniuses of the continent. In the 10 great clans, a small number of core disciples have reached the true spirit realm at your age and it's not rare. Some of the truly monstrous geniuses have reached the second level of the true mystic rank and their masters are even at the origin core realm. The blood-haired man's following words were a blow to Zhao Feng. The strongest geniuses of the continent had talent and body that surpassed the 13 countries. Maybe Zhao Yufei could be compared to them. In terms of resources, even the Canopy Great Country surpassed the 13 countries. On the other hand, the 10 great clans were one level higher than the Iron Blood religion and the Imperials. The 10 great sects, which had a long history, even destroyed the Scarlet Moon religion. What was more terrifying was that a small number of geniuses were disciples of sovereigns. Talent, resources, masters, competition, whether it was in terms of birth or environment, they all surpassed Zhao Feng. In this sort of situation, Zhao Feng's immense confidence was finally somewhat diminished. Although you can challenge and win against those at the true human rank when you were at the half-step true spirit realm. But in the past sacred True Dragon gathering, there were occasionally those with higher cultivation. For example, the sword Saint Yi Wuxie from several hundred years ago defeated someone at the late stages of the true human rank when he was only at the early stages of the true human rank and won first place. Tiamat's smile was thick. In reality, with Zhao Feng's current strength, it would be no problem for him to participate in the sacred True Dragon gathering. It was just that he wouldn't be able to get a good ranking. He was purposely beating Zhao Feng up to temper his temperament and put even more pressure on him. The sacred True Dragon gathering will be held in half a year and the Iron Blood religion has many seeds. If you have the chance to reach the true spirit realm in the next half a year, it shouldn't be a problem for you to participate in the sacred True Dragon gathering. Tiamat said. I understand. Zhao Feng faintly nodded his head. Under normal situations, with Zhao Feng's current cultivation, it wasn't very likely for him to reach the true spirit realm in half a year. But don't forget that Zhao Feng's mental energy level was very high and he had the Water Moon Pirate source of true spirit. Tiamat could sense Zhao Feng's mental energy level, but he couldn't sense the Water Moon Pirate source of true spirit that was sealed by the Heaven's Legacy inheritance. From Tiamat's point of view, Zhao Feng had a 30 to 40% chance of reaching the true spirit realm in half a year. In reality, Zhao Feng was 90% confident. The Golden Spear Blood Dragon sedan flew in the air for several thousand miles before landing in a large valley. The Golden Spear Blood Dragon sedan had the ability to fly and the 4 sedan bearers were only there to help the Deputy Patriarch. This valley was guarded by a large array that was more than 10 times the size of the Broken Moon clans. In the depths of the valley, there was a deep and spacious palace built in the valley and caves. This was the headquarters of the Iron Blood religion and although it wasn't as big as the capital, its defense was extremely strong. Greetings Deputy Patriarch. When the Golden Spear Blood Dragon sedan landed, the members of the Iron Blood religion from the Ascended Realm to the True Spirit Realm all bowed. Zhao Feng followed the blood-hair-colored man out of the iron blood religion and attracted countless gazes. Who's this brat? How can he ride the golden spear blood dragon sedan with the deputy patriarch? The members of the iron blood religion were secretly surprised. Half the time it took to make tea later. The blood-hair-colored man and Zhao Feng entered a grand palace. Tiamat called for a simple meeting, attended by a protector, several elders, and other higher-ups. Zhao Feng recognized the wrinkled elder in ancient robes. It was the protector who warned him when he first entered the capital. This youth is the one who kidnapped Empress Qin, Zhao Feng. The blood-hair-colored deputy patriarch gave a simple introduction. The cultivation of the upper echelon of the iron blood religion were all above the true mystic rank, and some were even at the peak of the true mystic rank. One of the regulation's elders was a white-haired female whose cultivation had reached the true lord rank, and her authority was only below the deputy patriarch. After the introduction, Zhao Feng got to know some of the upper echelons present. Of course, the iron blood religion was spread across a large area and not all of the upper echelons were present. Just this alone made Zhao Feng click his tongue. Even the 13 clans and the 2 strong countries combined probably won't be the iron blood religion's match. Zhao Feng thought in his heart. Patriarch, you're going to give him the title of chapter leader? This isn't a small matter. Most chapter leaders are either experts at the true mystic rank or peak true human rank. But for such a young man with insufficient cultivation to control the situation, I'm afraid it's a little inappropriate. The white-haired woman, who was also the enforcement elder, raised her doubts. According to what Zhao Feng knew, although Tiamat was the deputy patriarch of the iron blood religion, he wasn't much different from the patriarch. No one knew if the patriarch was dead or alive, and there were rumors that he was in a deep sleep. All in all, the real patriarch usually didn't exist. The regulation's elder's cultivation had reached the true lord rank, and she was the only one present who dared to question the deputy patriarch's decision. The rest of the people also chimed in. A chapter leader had a lot of weight in the iron blood religion and was in charge of an area. In the Imperials, it was equivalent to a marquis. I've made my decision. The blood-hair-colored deputy patriarch's expression didn't change, and he didn't even explain. He had a sense of authority. Chapter 312. I've made up my mind. Iron Blood Religion, the Grand Meeting Hall. The white-haired discipline elder and the others were startled by the vice-sect master's decision to go against the crowd's objections. Most of the time, the deputy patriarch would listen to the elders and protectors' suggestions. Furthermore, the upper echelon of the iron blood religion respected the deputy patriarch very much. Sometimes, even if the deputy patriarch did things his way, the results would prove that he was right, especially when it came to using people. The blood-hair-colored deputy patriarch's eyes were very good at reading people. However, this time, everyone looked at each other. The iron blood religion has never had such a young chapter leader. This Zhao Feng is only 16 or 17 years old. According to some places, he isn't even an adult yet. The protector with a wrinkled face in an ancient robe thought to himself. Last time at the Canopy Great Capital, he had sent a letter to Zhao Feng and knew about this youth's background and information. Even the protector in ancient robes had his doubts about the deputy sect master's arrangements. However, since the deputy patriarch had made the decision, no one dared to object. Just like this, Zhao Feng became the youngest chapter leader in the history of the Iron Blood religion. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion sighed and questioned. Deputy Patriarch, where do you plan to put Zhao Feng? The white-haired regulations elder didn't continue to object and instead changed the topic. Which chapters don't have a leader right now? Tiamat said casually. The Thousand Water chapter and Eternal Sky chapter both don't have a chapter leader. The Thousand Water chapter is slightly closer to the headquarters and the 2 vice-chapter leaders are strong, but the position of the chapter leader hasn't been decided yet. The Eternal Sky chapter is further away and the old chapter leader just passed away. The white-haired female said. And, put Zhao Feng in the Thousand Water chapter. Tiamat didn't have time to think. Hearing this, the expressions of the upper echelon changed once more. The Thousand Water chapter was closer to the capital and the headquarters of the Iron Blood religion. The deputy patriarch's arrangement could obviously take care of Zhao Feng. However, the two vice division masters of the Thousand Water division, Yun Sha and Qin Mengzhen, aren't easy to deal with. Their combat strength is formidable, and they're eyeing the position of division master covetously. Especially Yun Sha, he is arrogant and unruly. The white-haired woman's lips curled into a smile as she thought of this. The Thousand Water branch was slightly closer to the capital, so the area it was stationed in was slightly more prosperous. It was much more attractive than some of the more remote branches. Correspondingly, the competition at the Thousand Water division was intense. There were many experts overseeing the division, and the factions were complicated. Tiamat didn't seem to think too much and directly appointed Zhao Feng as the Thousand Water branch master. You can rest in the headquarters for half a month. When the time comes, I will arrange for a capable assistant to go with you. Tiamat secretly transmitted his voice to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng nodded, took the branch leader's token, and temporarily entered the headquarters. Given this child's strength and experience, it will be difficult to control the Thousand Water division master. With Yun Sha and Chen Mengzhen's personalities, they definitely won't submit to such a young and weak chapter master. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion sent off Zhao Feng's figure with their eyes, and a playful smile appeared on their lips. They were certain that Zhao Feng wouldn't last long as the Thousand Water chapter master. Next, let's discuss the progress of the sacred True Dragon gathering. Tiamat changed the topic. Iron Blood religion, in an elegant palace, the walls and ceiling were embedded with bright jewels that were bright and beautiful. Being a chapter master, Zhao Feng was a member of the upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion, and his treatment was extraordinary. He sat cross-legged and merged his consciousness into the second floor of the lightning inheritance in his mind. Back in the flooding lake city, Zhao Feng had tried the second floor of the lightning inheritance. According to the requirements, the second floor of the lightning inheritance required one to be at the true human rank. However, Zhao Feng's mental energy level was high, and with the god's spiritual eyes learning ability, he could comprehend it back then, but it was slightly difficult. Now, Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye had entered a deep sleep, and his cultivation had reached the half-step true spirit realm, so it was much easier to comprehend. In his mind, the lightning inheritance became more refined and detailed. From the macro to the micro, it slowly dissected the essence of things. This was Zhao Feng's forte. The dimension of his left eye could simulate the path and usage of various skills. Virtual flowers with lightning patterns appeared in the dimension of his left eye, appearing and disappearing one after another. While comprehending, Zhao Feng met some problems. One of them was that the power of lightning and heaven-earth yuan qi was weak unless it was a thunderstorm. Some attacks at the true spirit realm not only didn't weaken after leaving the body, they could even become stronger and last longer. This was the ability to resonate with the heaven-earth yuan qi. Under normal situations, only those at the true Lord rank could merge their qi of true spirit with the heaven-earth yuan qi. Those at the true human rank could only absorb to a certain degree and didn't need enough mental energy to truly resonate. From the looks of it, my bottleneck in the second level of the lightning inheritance is restricted by my cultivation. Zhao Feng understood where the problem was. Only when the qi of half-step true spirit had completely turned into qi of true spirit would the lightning element within his body be able to interact with the heaven-earth yuan qi from the outside world. Simply put, there was only one problem, and that was to break through to the true spirit realm. As long as he broke through to the true spirit realm, Zhao Feng would have some success on the second floor of the lightning inheritance. Thinking up to here, Zhao Feng focused on cultivating and organizing what he had gained from the Water Moon Treasury and the Rising Dragon auction. When the qi of half-step true spirit within Zhao Feng's body hummed with lightning. His aura was condensed, and those that came close would feel numb from lightning. The qi of half-step true spirit has been converted to 60% and is becoming slower. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. The closer one was to the limit, the harder it was. Of course. Under normal situations, when the qi of half-step true spirit reached 60%, one could try to break through to the true spirit realm, but the chances weren't high. Zhao Feng released his senses and the qi of half-step true spirit seeped out of his Baihui point to sense the endless heaven-earth yuan qi in the air. The heaven-earth yuan qi was a general concept that contained all kinds of elemental yuan qi such as lightning, wind, fire. Zhao Feng's mental energy level was comparable to the true human rank, and adding on the god's spiritual eye's strong mental energy source, he had a greater advantage than others who had broken through. Not long after, he sensed a trace of the power of lightning. The first step. Zhao Feng's qi of half-step true spirit interacted with the heaven-earth yuan qi and cleansed his true force. Even those at the ascended realm could do this, but it was very shallow. This was the basic Xiantian realm. The second step. It had reached a sufficient affinity with the power of lightning in the heaven and earth yuan qi. This step surpassed those at the ascended realm and could be done by those at the half-step true spirit realm. Some skills focused on intent, but in reality, it was to reach a certain mental energy state and have a high compatibility with the heaven-earth yuan qi. The higher the level of the skill, the stronger the compatibility. The higher the compatibility, the stronger the ability to absorb the qi of true spirit. Zhao Feng nodded his head in his heart. Through his comprehension, his understanding of the true spirit realm had also deepened. At the same time, some of the things he didn't understand in the origin core ruins had also been comprehended. As time passed, Zhao Feng's compatibility with the heaven-earth yuan qi increased. 3 days later, he attracted a small amount of lightning yuan qi and absorbed it into his body. Because of his high cultivation and the control of the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng's attraction to the lightning yuan qi became stronger. On the 5th day, lightning crackled in the air above Zhao Feng's hall. Those with high cultivations would find that the lightning yuan qi in this area was denser. The heaven-earth yuan qi was the basic structure of the universe. A person was only a particle. The higher the quality and quantity of heaven and earth yuan qi, the greater the level of life and the greater the power one could wield. If one's realm was high enough, even a single particle could become a supreme being in the universe, standing above all living beings. As he slowly accumulated, Zhao Feng's comprehension became deeper and deeper. The deepening of this understanding also helped to improve his mental state. On the 10th day, Zhao Feng could absorb the lightning yuan qi from the outside world to refine his body and true force. At this point in time, the true spirit realm didn't have any requirements for him. All he needed was some time. My qi of half-step true spirit has reached 80 to 90%. The most important thing is that my true force has doubled. Zhao Feng smiled as he opened his eyes. Right now, he only needed one last step to form his own source of true spirit in his dantian. As long as he succeeded, he would be an expert at the true spirit realm. Apart from this, he wasn't much different from normal experts at the true spirit realm. After completing this step, Zhao Feng felt like a fish in water when he cultivated the second level of the lightning inheritance. This was because his comprehension of the heaven-earth lightning yuan qi was stronger and he could even attract and capture it. Chiu, Chiu, Zhao Feng raised his hand and a chain of lightning shot out, forming a half-yard-long lightning snake that flew through the air. Within a few breaths, it didn't dissipate and its power increased instead. After the lightning snake flew through the air, it circled around him 3 times without the support of true force. This was because the attack from the qi of half-step true spirit could still be sensed by Zhao Feng and attract the heaven-earth lightning yuan qi. From now on, Zhao Feng had completely entered the second level of the lightning inheritance and had even started to succeed. He then started to comprehend the various uses of the lightning inheritance, merging his movement, defense, and some powerful secret techniques. Blade of lightning. Zhao Feng raised his hand and lightning crackled in his palm. The lightning condensed and formed a half-yard-long blade of lightning that flickered realistically. In the past, Zhao Feng could barely create a blade of lightning that was only a meter long. It was rough and used up a lot of true force. At that moment, the lightning blade was a blade formed from fine lightning power. It possessed a sharp cutting ability. Shua! The blade of lightning flashed and a high-grade mortal weapon next to Zhao Feng was sliced in half. The cut was scorched black and it was still giving off smoke. What a powerful attack! It can cut through the chi of true spirit of normal true human rank cultivators. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. Chapter 313. Several days later. Amidst the clouds, a man and a woman sat on a lotus platform surrounded by tricolored petals. The man wore a blue and white heaven luo mystic robe and had blue hair. His left eye was a faint blue and his expression was cold as he sat cross-legged. Beside him sat a girl in a pink dress. She was beautiful and looked to be in her 20s. The girl in pink was called Dai Yi and she was the assistant that Tiamat had sent to Zhao Feng. Her cultivation had reached the true human rank. According to Tiamat, this Dai Yi was once the servant of the mysterious patriarch. Her cultivation, age and experience couldn't be judged on the surface. For such a special person to accompany Zhao Feng to the Thousand Water chapter, one could see how much Tiamat cared for him. Chapter leader, the Thousand Water chapter is located near the Thousand Water River. There are many rivers there and the terrain is complicated. There are at least 100 forces there. The bigger forces include the Yun side family, Bai side family, 100 Flower chapter etc. Dai Ye's voice was soft and her aura was cute. In the Canopy Great Country, the Imperials, 3 sects and 4 families were spread across the Great Country. Even in the capital, where the Imperials were the strongest, there was still the Iron Blood religion. The situation at the Thousand Water River was the same. Apart from the Iron Blood religion, there were other forces such as the Yun side family, Bai side family, 100 Flower chapter etc. The few factions that Dai Yi had mentioned were all well known. Ordinary clans and sects weren't included in this list. In the past dozens of years, the Iron Blood religion was the strongest in the Thousand Water River area, just like the Flooding Lake Lu family. If it was before the Flooding Lake City Lord reached the true Lord rank, Zhao Feng's current position would be on par with the Flooding Lake Lu family head and the City Lord. Of course, the Flooding Lake Lu tribe was considered one of the stronger sub-tribes, dominating an area. 100 Flower chapter. Zhao Feng was only slightly interested in one of the forces. The 100 Flower chapter was the wicked clan that the Water Moon Pirate came from. After the death of the Water Moon Pirate, the 100 Flowers Gate gradually declined, but even so, it was still on par with the Yun and Bai families. The 100 Flowers Gate can be ranked in the top 5 of the Thousand Water River region. It is an evil sect that occasionally harms the beautiful women of the various clans and sections. Dai Ye's expression was obedient. Her bright eyes flashed as she carefully sized up the youngest leader in the history of the Iron Blood religion. This time, Zhao Feng had broken the record as the leader of the Iron Blood religion. Firstly, he was only 16 or 17 years old, not even considered an adult. Secondly, his cultivation had not reached the true spirit realm. This youth was quiet and indifferent the entire way. He was often immersed in cultivation and comprehension. Sometimes, it was Dai Yi who injected the chi of true spirit into the 3-flowered treasured lotus to make it fly. Not long after, Zhao Feng had a general understanding of the situation in the Thousand Water River region. What do I need to pay attention to after arriving at the Thousand Water division? Zhao Feng humbly asked for guidance. On the surface, the Thousand Water chapter has a total of 6 experts at the true spirit realm. Amongst them, the 2 vice-chapter leaders, Yun Sha and Chen Mengzhen, have the strength of the peak true human rank. When the 2 teamed up, they had once defeated experts at the true mystic rank. These 2 are looking forward to the position of chapter leader and Dai Yi is worried that they won't accept you. Dai Yi didn't hide these unfavorable factors for Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng couldn't help but rub his forehead. From the looks of it, the pressure of the 1,000-water chapter leader wasn't small. The most important thing right now was to reach the true spirit realm as soon as possible. This way, the pressure would be smaller. The 3-flowered treasured lotus flying speed was extremely fast and was close to normal true mystic ranks. The downside was that even if the 3-flowered treasured lotus was fully opened, it could only fit 2 or 3 people. However, the downside was that the 3-flowered treasured lotus defense, speed and support abilities were extremely strong. It was currently Zhao Feng's most precious treasure. After that, Zhao Feng studied the map of the 1,000-water river. In the end, Zhao Feng saw the transverse water stronghold in a complicated area. So the transverse water stronghold and 100-flower chapter are both around the 1,000-water river. Zhao Feng's heart moved. Half a month later, Zhao Feng and Dai Yi arrived at the 1,000-water chapter. The new chapter leader instantly shook the Iron Blood Religion chapter. The new chapter leader is a brat who hasn't even grown his hair yet. You want us adults to listen to the orders of a brat? I can't understand what the main headquarters of the Iron Blood Religion is thinking. The upper echelon of the 1,000-water chapter was filled with anger. The 2 vice-chapter leaders, Yun Sha and Qin Mengzhen, had ugly expressions. Yun Sha was a blood-robed youth with a cold expression. He had a bloodthirsty aura that was enough to make normal true human rank tremble. Qin Mengzhen was a glamorous woman in palace attire. She looked elegant and beautiful, and her eyes flickered with uncertainty. The 2 of them looked at each other and exchanged glances. This new branch master was personally appointed by the vice sect master, and he stood above everyone else. This is the first reason. The second reason is that this brat apparently received the inheritance of the Water Moon Pirate and kidnapped Empress Qin in the capital, shocking the country. Qin Mengzhen said. So what? Getting the Water Moon treasury was just luck. Kidnapping Empress Qin was just an act of desperation. If the deputy patriarch didn't help him, would he be able to escape? Yun Sha snickered coldly. It was very obvious that everyone had a deep understanding of the background and origin of this new branch leader. To the people below, they needed to understand the new branch leader's background and temper. This was to prevent a new official from trying to change his mind and getting caught in the crossfire. For the 2 vice-chapter leaders, only by finding the weakness of the opponent would they have a chance to rise. Qin Mengzhen laughed and said, no matter what, he was personally appointed by the deputy patriarch and his name has shaken the country. On the surface, we can't go against him or else if word gets out. Yun Sha snickered coldly and didn't say anything. This new chapter leader had the support of the deputy patriarch, so he obviously couldn't go against him on the surface. However, he could use all kinds of methods in the dark. The new chapter leader soon descended from the sky on the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Within the Iron Blood Religion division, everyone's eyes were locked onto the cold and emotionless blue-haired youth who was wearing the Heaven Luo mystic robe. His deep blue left eye seemed to be able to see through everything in the world, giving off an inexplicable coldness. The hearts of those in the lower echelons shook and they instinctively avoided his gaze. This new chapter leader's gaze was too terrifying. The coldness seemed to be able to freeze the soul. Only the 2 vice-chapter leaders didn't avoid his gaze. His eye bloodline isn't simple. Unfortunately, his cultivation is too low and his age isn't enough. Yun Sha snickered coldly. The weird thing was that next to the new chapter leader was a maid wearing a pink dress whose cultivation had reached the true human rank. Dai Yi, the most trusted maid of the Iron Blood Religion leader and deputy patriarch. Qin Mengzhen recognized the identity of the female attendant in a pink dress, and she couldn't help but take a deep breath and completely retract her contempt. The deputy patriarch had placed this maid next to Zhao Feng. From this, one could see how much importance he placed on the new chapter leader. Greetings, chapter leader. When Zhao Feng showed his chapter leader token, everyone bowed down. Even those as strong as Yun Sha and Qin Mengzhen had to maintain respect on the surface and bowed towards Zhao Feng. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng descended from the sky and had the feeling that he was the ruler of the world. However, he understood that this was the power that the deputy patriarch had given him. Through his God's spiritual eye, it wasn't hard for Zhao Feng to see that these people didn't respect him. On his first day, Zhao Feng first got to know the upper echelons of the Iron Blood Religion chapter. Some of the more important matters would be reported to the chapter leader by the deputy patriarch and elders. Chapter leader, recently the Yun side family's power has risen greatly and a new true human rank has appeared. Although the old patriarch is old and his true mystic rank battle power isn't enough, it's still the biggest threat to the Thousand Water chapter. Not long ago, the Yun side family caused trouble in the primal crystal mine under the control of the Thousand Water chapter and killed a person. There might be a reason for this. This subordinate suggests that we go find the Yun side family personally. Reporting to chapter leader, the 100 Flower chapter has been unusually low-key these past few months and some of the upper echelons have hidden themselves in the forest. We suspect that this has something to do with the fan-flying bandit obtaining the Water Moon treasury. The deputy chapter leader and several elders all presented some matters. Zhao Feng's brow furrowed. To him, these matters sounded like guesses and conspiracy theories, or perhaps they were making a mountain out of a molehill. At least in the Thousand Water chapter, there wasn't a force that dared to challenge the Thousand Water chapter. From today onwards, when I'm in seclusion, all matters will be handled by Dai Yi. Zhao Feng stood up and entered his quarters. From the looks of it, he wasn't interested in these matters. This situation made Yun Sha and Chen Mengzhen rejoice. The new chapter leader didn't have much interest in power. This meant that most of the matters were still under their control. The only person that was hard to deal with was this female attendant Dai Yi. This female attendant used the name of the chapter leader to ask about the matters of the chapter leader and even question some of the mistakes. The new chapter leader's just a brat and isn't scary. The key is to deal with this female attendant. Yun Sha and Chen Mengzhen's thoughts turned to Dai Yi. Not only was Dai Yi Zhao Feng's assistant, she was also the deputy patriarch's trusted female attendant. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, was much more relaxed. He spent the majority of his time cultivating. The qi of half-step true spirit within his body was extremely pure and its compatibility with the heaven-earth-lightning yuan qi was increasing day by day. He sat down for a while and the lightning yuan qi in the air above the hall started to gather. Breaking through to the true spirit realm wasn't hard at all for Zhao Feng. All he needed now was a period of time to condense his own source of true spirit within his dantian. The source of true spirit was the source of the qi of true spirit. At the same time, it gathered the essence of life. 4 to 5 days passed. The qi of half-step true spirit within Zhao Feng's body became purer and purer and the liquid true force within his body formed the shape of raindrops. The true force within these liquid raindrops was already comparable to the qi of true spirit and was still being refined. The heaven-earth lightning yuan qi above Zhao Feng's head became denser and gathered into his body, cleansing his meridians and causing his body and qi of half-step true spirit to change. Just one last step. Zhao Feng took a deep breath and the raindrops of true force within his body started to merge, refine, condense and slowly revolve, as if forming a small spring. Chapter 314. Iron Blood Religion, Thousand Water Chapter. The sky above the new chapter leader's hall crackled with lightning. The lightning yuan qi in this area was abnormally active. In the end, rings of faint purple electric arcs could be seen in the sky. They interweaved like silk threads and extinguished like fireworks, forming a magnificent scene. Within a 10-mile radius, those at or above the ascended realm could feel this scene. No wonder he's someone the deputy patriarch has high hopes for. He's not even 17 but has reached the true spirit realm. Such a genius is rare even in the entire Canopy Great Country. Dai Ye's eyes twinkled. As an assistant, she protected Zhao Feng. With her many years of experience, Zhao Feng's breakthrough to the true spirit realm was abnormally smooth and there were almost no bottlenecks. The entire process was as smooth as water flowing through a canal. The commotion of the new chapter leader had alarmed the upper echelon of the Thousand Water chapter. Yun Sha and Chen Mengzhen's expressions were slightly solemn. This Zhao Feng isn't a normal genius. Back then, we were still struggling at the sixth sky of the ascended realm. Furthermore, he has a special eye bloodline. Chen Mengzhen's eyebrows furrowed as she felt that the situation was troublesome. If Zhao Feng hadn't reached the true spirit realm, in their eyes, he was just an ant with a backer. On the surface, it wasn't easy to deal with him, but in the dark, they could make him retreat. However, now that Zhao Feng had reached the true spirit realm, the situation was different. Once one reached the true spirit realm, one would no longer be mortal. This sentence was also applicable in the Canopy Great Country. Once one reached the true spirit realm, their lifespan and strength would increase dramatically. If he reaches the true spirit realm, it will indeed be troublesome to deal with him. Those with bloodlines are usually stronger than others of the same cultivation, and he has the three-flowered, treasured lotus. Yun Sha's expression kept changing. With their peak true human rank cultivation and powerful battle power, they didn't put normal true human rank cultivators in their eyes. However, Zhao Feng had too many things to rely on. The deputy patriarch's attention, his talent and potential, his unique eye bloodline, his fame that shook the country, and the treasures in his hands, all of this pushed his reputation and foundation to an even higher level. No. He had to stop him from reaching the true spirit realm. Everyone knew that every successful attempt to break through to the true spirit realm was influenced by luck, state of mind, spiritual core, and many other factors. As long as he successfully interrupts it once, the next time he wants to attack, he might not have the help of these factors, and the success rate will be greatly reduced. A trace of coldness flashed in Shuaisha's eyes. You're crazy. If the deputy sect master finds out, you'll lose a layer of skin even if you don't die. Chen Mengzhen was shocked. Humph. We can't let our own people do it. This requires external help. Shuaisha's face was cold. Borrowing external forces. Are you thinking of? A look of realization appeared on Chen Mengzhen's face. Recently, the Thousand Water Division hadn't faced any major crisis. The only problem was the dispute with the Yun branch family. The Yun branch family had charged into the Thousand Water branch's crystal mine and killed a member of the Iron Blood branch. If that brat wants to condense his source of true spirit, he will need around 10 more days. During this time, we can deal with the Yun family's branch family and blow things up. Once the two forces go to war, in that kind of big situation, he won't be able to stay out of it. Shuaisha licked his lips as a cruel expression appeared on his face. Chen Mengzhen thought for a while and nodded her head faintly. She had to admit that this was the best plan. They couldn't do it themselves and needed external help. That external help was the Yun side family and the Thousand Water chapter's biggest opponent. For the next 2 days, the conflict between the Iron Blood division and the Yun side family continued to expand. Neither side was willing to give way. The Iron Blood religion had always been tough, and since the Yun side family had killed someone, the Iron Blood religion obviously wouldn't let it go. This was the Iron Blood religion's way of doing things. Less than 3 days later, the battle between the Iron Blood religion and the Yun side family rose to another level. At the beginning, it was only between those at the Ascended Realm and at most the half-step True Spirit Realm. Then, experts at the True Human rank joined the battle. The two sides clashed and a few small skirmishes occurred which became more and more intense. On the 5th day, Shuaisha and Chen Mengzhen also joined the battle and killed a True Human rank from the Yun side family and heavily injured 2 others. Then, the head of the Yun side family, a true mystic rank expert, killed a True Human rank from the Iron Blood religion. The situation continued to expand. What's going on? Why is the Yun side cooperating with us? Shuaisha and Chen Mengzhen were both surprised. In the past, the head of the Yunside family, a true mystic rank expert, was getting old and didn't want to fight for power. Therefore, he usually tried to avoid conflict with the Iron Blood Religion chapter. However, this time was extremely abnormal. First, the Yunside family killed someone. Then, the Iron Blood Religion counterattacked and the Yunside family attacked. There was no need for Shui Sha and Qin Mengjin to plan. Everything was going too smoothly. Is there some sort of problem here? Why would a branch family of the Yun clan dare to clash with us? Although they have a true mystic rank expert, the two of us teaming up will win more than we lose. More importantly, our middle and lower tier instructors and spies are everywhere. Deputy Branch Leader Qin Mengjin felt uneasy. Reporting to Deputy Chapter Leader, the situation isn't good. The 100 Flower chapter has ambushed our spies. Several female members were raped and their corpses were thrown in front of the chapter. A member at Half-Step True Spirit Realm hurriedly reported. 100 Flower chapter. Shui Sha and Qin Mengjin's expressions changed dramatically and their hearts dropped. In this period of time, the 100 Flower chapter's movements had been weird and one of the leading figures of this generation, the Fan-Flying Bandit, had obtained many benefits from the Water Moon treasury, especially the Water Moon God Peach Fan. His strength had increased dramatically. The 100 Flower chapter specialized in ambushing and using despicable methods to work with the Yunside family would pose a great danger to the Iron Blood Religion chapter. The situation isn't good. Shui Sha and Qin Mengjin couldn't help but take a deep breath. On the same day, the Iron Blood Religion chapter was attacked by the Yunside family and the 100 Flower chapter. On the surface, there were many members of the Iron Blood Religion. They had their own plans in the open and in the dark. However, no one would have thought that the Yunside family would team up with the infamous 100 Flower chapter. On the 7th day, the Iron Blood Religion's losses became greater and greater. If this continued, the 1000 Water chapter would be in danger of being destroyed. If that bastard Zhao Feng is willing to apologize, the Yunside family can give up on attacking the Iron Blood Religion chapter. A white-robed old man with a face full of vicissitudes floated in the air. His body was like a feather that was weightless. His chi of true spirit connected to the heaven and earth and gave off a powerful aura. Normal true human rank experts would feel their heart tremble when facing him and their chi of true spirit would become uneasy. This old white-clothed elder was the head of the Yunside family and an expert at the true mystic rank. Have the chapter leader apologize? Our chapter leader has just taken over and hasn't even taken half a step out of the 1000 Water chapter. When did we offend the Yunside family? Shui Sha and the others were baffled. They felt that something was wrong. Zhao Feng had just arrived at the 1000 Water chapter. How did he cause such trouble? Your new chapter leader destroyed my grandson Yun Haiyang's arm in a spar at the Flooding Lake City. Haiyang was once the top genius of a branch family of the Qianshui Yun family. Later, he was recommended to the main branch of the Yun family. His future seemed limitless, but he was crippled by that brute and poisoned with a cold poison that almost caused his cultivation base to regress. Right now, he's recovering at home. The head of the Yunside family's voice was filled with coldness and anger. Hearing this, the people of the Iron Blood Religion looked at each other in dismay. They had heard of Yun Haiyang before. He was the #1 genius of the 1000 Water Yun family and the grandson of the previous head. However, what was unexpected was that Yun Haiyang had such a grudge with the new chapter leader. Back at the Flooding Lake City, Yun Haiyang was jealous and challenged Zhao Feng to an archery duel. That battle was extremely dangerous and Zhao Feng didn't dare to let his guard down. He used his full strength to seal this brat in ice and destroy one of his arms. Luckily, the Flooding Lake City Lord had saved him in time, or else Yun Haiyang would have turned into an ice sculpture. Afterwards, Yun Haiyang's injuries were unimaginable. The Luoho Bao's cold power clashed with his own power and created a poison that entered his bones and meridians. For the past half a year, Yun Haiyang had been bedridden and his cultivation had regressed. His potential had been greatly reduced and it would be hard for him to reach the true spirit realm. Coincidentally this time, the new chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion naturally wanted to know about such a key person. However, upon investigation, they found that this brat was the culprit behind his grandson's injuries. Zhao Feng. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for making too many enemies. You escaped the marriage in the flooding lake city, crippled my grandson and stole the water moon treasury of the 100-flower chapter. If it wasn't for the fan-flying bandit's suggestion of working together and splitting the profits, I wouldn't have acted immediately. The head of the Yun family snickered coldly in his heart. The fan-flying bandit of the 100-flower chapter had successfully refined the water moon god Peach Fan and was half a step into the true mystic rank. In terms of battle power, the fan-flying bandit wasn't any weaker than him and was even more vicious. Yun Sha's side was under a lot of pressure. This was because the Yun family and 100-flower chapter were attacking at the same time and he had to deal with the Yun family. Chen Mengzhen was responsible for dealing with the 100-flower chapter. Deputy Chapter Leader, things aren't good. Chapter Leader Chen has been defeated and taken away by the fan-flying bandit. A figure flashed over. What? Chen Mengzhen had been kidnapped. Yun Sha took in a cold breath as cold sweat appeared on his back. He knew Chen Mengzhen's strength and she had fought against him for many years. Such a female expert had been defeated by the fan-flying bandit and taken away. Iron Blood Chapter, hand over Zhao Feng within 3 days. The head of the Yun family said coldly. 1000 Water Chapter, Chapter Leader's Hall. Reporting to Chapter Leader, things aren't good. The Yun family and 100-flower chapter have teamed up to attack the 1000 Water Chapter. The 2 deputy chapter leaders want you to take charge. Someone came to report. Dai Yi stood at the entrance of the hall and didn't say anything. She was only responsible for protecting Zhao Feng. Fuck off. Zhao Feng only said one word. He thought in his heart that Yun Sha definitely wanted to ruin his chance to reach the true spirit realm. At this point in time, the source of true spirit within his dantian had started to form and was about the size of a thumb. When right at this moment in time, the situation changed. Within his dantian, the water moon pirate's source of true spirit and Zhao Feng's source of true spirit formed a mysterious bridge. This source of true spirit was 10 times stronger than Zhao Feng's source of true spirit. A transparent stream of true spirit formed a book. Chapter 315. The mystic flower treasured Bible that had been destroyed by Zhao Feng in the Water Moon Treasury had appeared in another form in the Water Moon Pirate's sealed source of true spirit. Water Moon Pirate, you still couldn't bear to let your secret art be lost and left behind such a method. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye gazed at the book formed from the chi of true spirit and couldn't help but sigh. At this moment, he deeply felt the Water Moon Pirate's meticulous planning for 100 years without a single mistake. In that era, the Water Moon Pirate didn't have the strength to dominate the world, but he was able to roam the great country. Not only did he rely on strength and treasures, he also relied on his intelligence. Shua. Zhao Feng circulated his god's spiritual eye and scanned the book formed from the chi of true spirit. The contents of the book were copied by Zhao Feng. The god's spiritual eye had awakened many times and its power had become stronger. Even the mystic flower treasured Bible, which was comparable to a high-tier spiritual grade skill, was absorbed by Zhao Feng with a single glance. Soon, a book that represented the mystic flower treasured Bible appeared in his mind. Zhao Feng hastily scanned the contents of the mystic flower treasured Bible. In terms of skills, the mystic flower treasured Bible was close to the high-tier spiritual grade, but it was just an overview that had absorbed the 100-flower chapter and many other wicked skills. Simply put, this was an encyclopedia of the evil path's cultivation techniques. There were all kinds of secret arts, all of them the quintessence. Therefore, in terms of value, the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible could be compared to Zhao Feng's lightning inheritance. The only difference was that the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible couldn't help a cultivator reach the origin core realm, while the lightning inheritance had a certain chance of success. The Mystic Flower Treasured Bible has a weird style and has countless methods. It specializes in speed and movement and can make up for some of the shortcomings of the lightning inheritance. This was the first time Zhao Feng had read the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible and he was stunned. The lightning inheritance was more abstract and focused on intent. On the other hand, the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible was very practical and could be used in any environment. Discard the dross and extract the essence. Zhao Feng made his decision. With the Mystic Flower Treasured Canon, he did not need other cultivation methods to supplement him. For the next 2 days, Zhao Feng concentrated on cultivating in seclusion. In the sky above the branch master's great hall, the lightning yuan qi gathered was several times denser than before. It even formed a certain amount of thunderclouds, its momentum horrifying. Just the aura from breaking through to the true spirit realm is several times stronger than normal. Dai Yi stood guard outside the hall, her heart pounding. At this moment in time, the lightning clouds above the hall had already surpassed normal early-stage true human ranks. According to normal classifications, those that had just stepped into the true human rank could only be considered at the beginning stages of the true human rank and would need a period of training to reach the early stages of the true human rank. There were 3 main reasons why Zhao Feng's aura was so strong when he broke through to the true spirit realm. Firstly, the lightning inheritance was very powerful. The power of lightning was one of the most powerful energies in the world, and it could basically restrain the majority of elemental energies. Secondly, Zhao Feng's mental energy level was high and his god's spiritual eye's source of mental energy was extremely strong. Thirdly, a part of the Water Moon Pirate's purer source of true spirit had merged with Zhao Feng's. Apart from that, there was also the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Therefore, even though Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had just formed, it wasn't small and was still being refined. Boom! The clouds of lightning above the hall shook and then merged into Zhao Feng's source of true spirit and started to refine it. At a certain point in time, the lightning shadows that lingered in the sky quickly disappeared. Immediately after, a new aura of true spirit filled with a destructive aura spread across several miles. At that moment, everyone in the Iron Blood Religion chapter felt a shocking aura. He succeeded. Dai Yi seemed to let go of a heavy burden as surprise flashed in her eyes. The aura of Zhao Feng breaking through to the true spirit realm was too strong. He had just broken through and was already giving off such a terrifying aura. On the continent, only a few supreme experts who had advanced in their cultivation would have such power that far surpassed ordinary people. For example, when the sword Saint Yi Wuxia reached the true spirit realm, a surge of sword qi shot into the sky and forced back several experts at the true spirit realm who were chasing him. According to the records, when the Scarlet Moon Religion Patriarch reached the true spirit realm, everything within 10 miles turned blood red. This was a bad omen. When Zhao Feng reached the true spirit realm, thunder could be heard within 10 miles and his body felt numb. Chapter Leader, Deputy Chapter Leader Chen has been kidnapped by the Fan-Flying Bandit. The head of the Yun family and the Fan-Flying Bandit have said that if Chapter Leader doesn't come out in 3 days, they'll destroy the Iron Blood Religion chapter. Outside the hall, a figure trembled as he kneeled on the ground. At this moment, when Zhao Feng had broken through to the true spirit realm, the aura of lightning was extremely strong and even normal true human rank experts would be shocked. Fuck off. A thunderous voice sounded in the air like the voice of the god of thunder. Yes, yes. The half-step true spirit realm expert's soul almost flew out of his body. This new chapter leader's roar had almost caused his mind to collapse. Normal true human rank experts didn't have such power. He should need to consolidate his source of true spirit. It's not good for him to act now. Dai Yi thought in her heart. Inside the hall, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged. His blue hair was wild and his body was surrounded by arcs of azure lightning that were even thinner than spider webs. At the same time, on his forehead, a star-like lightning seal appeared and disappeared, just like the floating crest lightning seal that Zhao Feng had obtained in the floating crest palace. Dai Ye's guess was only half correct. Not only did Zhao Feng need to consolidate his source of true spirit, he also needed to strengthen it. Not only did he need to strengthen it, he also needed to consolidate the second floor of the lightning inheritance. Before, when he cultivated the lightning inheritance, he was restricted by his cultivation and had reached a bottleneck. Now that he had broken through to the true spirit realm, his sense of heaven-earth yuan qi had reached a whole new level and was even stronger than normal true human rank experts. Boom! Boom! Lightning flashed across the hall once more, and this time, it was even stronger than before. What's going on? Didn't he just reach the true spirit realm? Why is his aura increasing again? Dai Yi was filled with disbelief. In reality, Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had merged with the Water Moon Pirate's source of true spirit and was close to the early stage true human rank. One had to know that the Water Moon Pirate's cultivation had reached the peak true mystic rank and was half a step into the true lord rank. The source of true spirit he had left behind was obviously strong. Zhao Feng used the aura and senses of his breakthrough to enter the second floor of the lightning inheritance and summon the heaven-earth lightning yuan qi. At the same time, the Water Moon Pirate's source of true spirit helped him absorb the heaven-earth lightning yuan qi and strengthen Zhao Feng's source of true spirit. Time continued to pass by. The lightning yuan qi above the chapter leader's hall trembled violently, and the power was comparable to the true mystic rank. The rolling lightning clouds were 100 yards wide and condensed above Zhao Feng's head. At this point in time, normal true human rank experts didn't dare to get too close to Zhao Feng. If the terrifying lightning clouds landed, not only would Zhao Feng die, the nearby true spirit realm experts wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. When the three-flowered treasured lotus under Zhao Feng blossomed with transparent petals and increased the absorption of heaven-earth yuan qi. The three-flowered treasured lotus also increased Zhao Feng's cultivation. The main Yun family was also one of the 8 super forces of the great country. It was hard for the main family and the main headquarters to support each other, or else the balance would be lost. Therefore, the Yun family head was only wary, but not afraid of the iron blood religion. Boom! Thunder exploded in the air above the Thousand Water chapter, and everyone within 100 miles could see it. Many people felt their hearts become heavy and uneasy. At the same time, the lightning clouds above the chapter leader's hall dissipated. An azure lightning symbol appeared on Zhao Feng's forehead. Shua! His figure disappeared from where he stood. A bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, dragging a beautiful arc of lightning behind it. Chapter leader has come out. Dai Yi smiled faintly and her voice spread everywhere. Chapter leader has come out. The entire Thousand Water division was shaken. Everyone stared at the bolt of lightning that tore through the dark clouds and pierced through the sky. Chapter 316. The Iron Blood Religion Chapter. The head of the Yun family and the Fan-Flying Bandits group were in 2 different areas, blocking the entrance. These 2 factions, the righteous and evil, worked together in the open and in the dark to force the Thousand Water branch into this dangerous situation. If there wasn't any reinforcements, the Thousand Water chapter might be removed from the Thousand Water River. Yun Sha's heart was filled with anger and hatred. All of this was brought about by the new chapter leader. The face of the kidnapped deputy chapter leader, Qin Mengjin, was filled with sorrow and humiliation. The few hundred flowers gate thieves beside her looked at her with all kinds of evil intentions in their eyes. Their faces were filled with lewd smiles. As long as the Fan-Flying Bandit gave the order, she couldn't imagine her fate. The sad thing was that the new chapter leader was in seclusion and didn't come out. The 2 originally wanted to lure the enemies to deal with Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng himself was a star of calamity. He had only been in the Thousand Water chapter for a few days and he had already brought such a disaster. This Xiao Feng has already reached the true spirit realm, but he still hasn't come out. If he and Dai Yi came to help, we would have 2 more experts at the true spirit realm and have a bit more hope. The more Yun Sha thought about it, the angrier he became. His anger couldn't be vented. He had sent people to invite the deputy chapter leader and Dai Yi several times, but the reply he got was only one word: fuck off. Right at this moment, a clap of thunder shook the sky. Chapter leader has come out. After the rumbling of thunder, a shadow of lightning streaked across the horizon like a magnificent ray of lightning. The Thousand Water chapter shook as the experts were attracted by the newly formed Chi of True Spirit. Within a radius of 10 miles, one could see that magnificent phantom of lightning. The experts at the True Spirit realm from the 3 sides all spread out their spiritual senses. Xiao Feng, you're finally willing to come out. Yun Sha's anger couldn't be quelled. However, the fan-flying bandit and head of the Yun family's reactions were even more intense. Xiao Feng. The fan-flying bandit's voice trembled as he gritted his teeth. His eyes were filled with anger and hatred. It was an unforgettable hatred that would either kill him or he would live. You are that Xiao Feng, the one who ruined my grandson's future, the hope of my Qianshui Yun family. The Yun family patriarch's face was filled with grief, anger, and killing intent. The reactions of the 2 experts gave Yun Sha a fright. This was especially true for the fan-flying bandit, who wanted to devour Xiao Feng's flesh. Pong! The lightning figure that tore through the air was unbelievably fast. It carried a destructive aura as it descended from the sky. The expressions of those at the true spirit realm changed dramatically. This wasn't the aura of someone who had just broken through to the true spirit realm. Greetings, branch leader. Everyone in the Iron Blood Religion division bowed towards Xiao Feng. Shueisha secretly gritted his teeth, but he had to flatter him on the surface, Lord Branch Leader. The Yun Side family and 100 Flower chapter have surrounded the division and the situation is extremely dangerous. We hope that Lord Branch Leader can lead us to destroy the enemy. He was very crafty, immediately putting a high hat on Xiao Feng's head. At that time, even if the Thousand Water chapter was destroyed, the cause would be Xiao Feng and the leader would be Xiao Feng. He wouldn't need to take any responsibility. The head of the Yun family and the fan-flying bandit felt the aura from Xiao Feng's body and their hearts shook. In the past, no matter how strong Xiao Feng was, he was only a brat at the ascended realm. However, now that he had broken through to the true spirit realm, it would be difficult to deal with him. Everyone, listen up. Xiao Feng's voice boomed in the minds of the upper echelon of the Iron Blood Religion division. This voice directly entered the mental energy dimension and was much more profound than normal spiritual senses. What a powerful mental energy aura! The upper echelon of the Thousand Water chapter trembled as they listened to the order. Deputy chapter leader Shueisha, when the battle starts, you will lead Elder Gao to stall and block the head of the Yun family. It will only take half the time it takes to make tea. If you fail, I'll hold you responsible. Xiao Feng's voice boomed like thunder. Yes, sir. Shueisha snickered coldly in his heart. From his point of view, this order was courting death. After Qinmengzhen was captured, Shueisha and Elder Gao were the strongest in the chapter and together, they could fight against normal true mystic ranks for a while. Furthermore, the head of the Yun family was old and not at the peak true mystic rank. However, apart from the head of the Yun family, there was another big threat. That was the fan-flying bandit. From a certain perspective, the fan-flying bandit was the biggest threat. This bandit was half a step into the true mystic rank and had the water moon god Peach Fan, which had offensive power comparable to normal true mystic ranks. Furthermore, the fan-flying bandit was the leader of the 100 Flower chapter of the Wicked Path and had all kinds of methods that were hard to defend against. Qinmengzhen had been accidentally hit. Understood. Deputy chapter leader Shueisha and I can barely complete the mission but the fan-flying bandit. Elder Gao was puzzled. Just do your job. I'll personally take care of the fan-flying bandit, Zhao Feng said expressionlessly. In just 1 or 2 breaths, Zhao Feng had finished his orders. His god's spiritual eye scanned across the scene. Although he had just arrived, his grasp of the situation was clearer than both sides. Ha ha ha, this brat thinks too highly of himself and thinks the fan-flying bandit is easy to deal with. Xue Sha was overjoyed. If it was before, his chances of winning against the fan-flying bandit was around 6-4. This meant that the fan-flying bandit before wasn't Xue Sha's match. But now, the fan-flying bandit had obtained the Water Moon God Peach Fan and the treasures of the Water Moon Treasury. Now, even Xue Sha didn't have a high chance of winning against the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng's decision made Xue Sha overjoyed. The only worry was how to report back to the headquarters after the chapter was defeated. Zhao Feng, if you're willing to apologize, maybe there's a sliver of hope. The head of the Yun family said in a low tone with a cold expression. Ha ha ha. Zhao Feng. Even if you kowtow to me and hand over all the treasures, I won't let you go. The fan-flying bandit laughed wickedly and the Water Moon God Peach Fan in his hand was surrounded by a layer of ice-blue water. The terrifying power was enough to instantly kill normal true human rank cultivators. Zhao Feng didn't bother with the fan-flying bandit and led the Iron Blood Religion chapter towards the Yun side family. So. Xue Sha and Elder Gao followed the plan and charged towards the head of the Yun side family. In a short amount of time, they were confident they could stall this true mystic rank elder. However, they were curious why Zhao Feng was also charging towards the Yun side family. Wasn't he going to deal with the fan-flying bandit? Pong! Zhao Feng's figure suddenly became faint and a wave of azure lightning spread out in the air. A lightning figure quickly approached a true human rank elder of the Yun side family. His speed was extremely fast, and wherever he went, a powerful shockwave of electricity would paralyze a large number of middle-level experts of the Yun family branch family. Some of them were even charred black and on the verge of death. What a fast speed! I want to see the strength of this new branch leader. The heart of the Yun family elder shuddered, but he did not retreat. After all, he was an old true spirit realm expert and had reached the early stages of the true human rank. Why would he be afraid of a junior that had just reached the true spirit realm? The speed of Zhao Feng's cyan lightning figure suddenly increased, shocking the Yun family elder. How could he have known that Zhao Feng had concealed his speed earlier? In the lightning inheritance, he comprehended the power of lightning, which contained the profoundness of speed. Zhao Feng's previous speed had been slightly reserved, and he was now using the profoundness of the inheritance to increase his speed dramatically. When the cyan lightning around Zhao Feng increased in power and instantly swept across a radius of 20 to 30 yards. Anyone under the true spirit realm would either be instantly killed or paralyzed and lose the ability to fight. The Yun family elder was caught off guard by Zhao Feng's sudden increase in speed and felt his body go numb. This numbness wasn't enough to make him lose the ability to fight back, but it could make him slightly slower. Blade of Lightning, Zhao Feng condensed a 1-meter-long blade of lightning in his hand. The lightning vibrated at a high frequency, like a sharp chainsaw. It fiercely stabbed towards the true force layer that the Yun family elder had hastily activated. Zhao Feng's blade of lightning was extremely sharp and destructive. It had a numbing effect and was extremely fast as well. It instantly pierced through the Yun family elder's defense. Ah! The Yun family elder screamed as he was pierced by the blade of lightning. A black hole was left on his chest and his body went numb. After the lightning blade struck out, it instantly collapsed. The electricity was scattered, and its destructive power was further increased. Plop! A charred body was left on the ground. An early-stage true human rank Yun family elder had been slain by Zhao Feng. Those from the Yun side family took in a cold breath as their hearts trembled. Those that were about to attack Zhao Feng froze in their steps and felt their breathing and throats become blocked. The reason why the Yun family elder had lost so quickly was because he had underestimated Zhao Feng. Who would have thought that a junior that had just reached the true spirit realm would have such strong battle power? This Zhao Feng dares to ignore me. On the other side, the fan-flying bandit was enraged as his expression became cold and filled with hatred. Zhao Feng was his only target. He wanted to turn this brat into dust and take back the water moon treasury that belonged to him. From the start of the battle, he had locked onto Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng didn't even bother with him as if he was air and charged towards the Yun family. He roared and leapt towards Zhao Feng. He then watched as Zhao Feng clashed with the true spirit realm expert and was secretly overjoyed as he prepared to kill him from behind. However, he saw the scene of Zhao Feng killing the Yun family elder in one slash. The fan-flying bandit couldn't help but shake. Although the Yun family elder had underestimated Zhao Feng, the newly ascended Zhao Feng was several times more terrifying than he had imagined. Zhao Feng, hurry up and die. The fan-flying bandit held the water moon god Peach Fan and was also extremely confident. After the defeat in the transverse water stronghold, he had used his unique skill to refine the water moon god Peach Fan and used some of the treasures in the water moon treasury to increase his strength. At this point in time, Zhao Feng turned around and smiled towards the fan-flying bandit. He obviously didn't ignore the fan-flying bandit. However, the fan-flying bandit who was the hardest to deal with in everyone else's eyes was actually easy to deal with in Zhao Feng's eyes. This was because he had grasped the fan-flying bandit's emotions and goal. After the defeat last time, the fan-flying bandit hated Zhao Feng to the core and this hatred had left a shadow in his heart. Therefore, Zhao Feng was certain that the fan-flying bandit would kill him at all costs. However, Zhao Feng didn't let him do as he wished and purposely ignored him. While he stalled the fan-flying bandit, he charged into the Yun side family and killed an elder. Killing an elder of the Yun side family wasn't aimlessly. This was part of Zhao Feng's plan. This was because there were several true human rank elders of the Yun side family and he needed to kill at least one of them in order to reduce the pressure on the Iron Blood religion branch. Chapter 317. Zhao Feng, hurry up and die. The fan-flying bandit yelled coldly and finally stopped Zhao Feng with a cruel and hateful expression. Zhao Feng had comprehended the lightning inheritance and with the Yin shadow cloak, his speed was unparalleled. Only the head of the Yun family and the fan-flying bandit could match his speed. Being the direct disciple of the Water Moon Pirate, the fan-flying bandit specialized in speed. Chapter Leader, be careful. This bandit has countless methods. Dai Yi had heavily injured a true human rank from the other side and wanted to help Zhao Feng. Dai Yi's most important mission in this trip to the Thousand Water chapter was to help Zhao Feng and ensure his safety. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. Dai Yi's strength was much stronger than it seemed on the surface. She wasn't any weaker than Yun Sha and Qin Mengzhen. Dai Yi, go save Deputy Chapter Leader Qin Mengzhen. I can deal with this bandit. Zhao Feng's voice sounded in Dai Yi's mental energy dimension. Dai Yi was a little hesitant at first, but the new branch leader's voice echoed in her mind like thunder. There was an inviolable majesty to it. Good. Dai Yi turned around and leapt towards the 100 Flower chapter's side. Her goal was to save Qin Mengzhen. If the rescue was successful, the Iron Blood branch would have one more deputy branch leader level powerhouse. At that time, there would be a possibility of turning the tables. However, the 100 Flower chapter had one true human rank and two at half-step true spirit realm guarding Qin Mengzhen. As Dai Yi leapt over, she was also stopped by another true human rank. The most important point of the battle was still the battle between Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit. The head of the Yun family was temporarily stopped by Yun Sha and the fan-flying bandit. Dai Yi and the other experts were dealing with the 100 Flower chapter's experts and saving Qin Mengzhen. The two sides were in a stalemate. On the other hand, the enemy still had the fan-flying bandit who had terrifying methods. Once Xiao Feng couldn't stop him, it would be a one-sided situation. The fan-flying bandit's damage against normal true human rank cultivators was too great. Even the deputy chapter leader had been captured. At this moment, Xiao Feng and the fan-flying bandit faced each other as their chi of true spirit became stronger and stronger. The powerful aura and ripples made others unable to approach. The experts from the other forces were all secretly watching this crucial battle. Fan-flying bandit, you lost to me last time and lost an arm, but you still haven't changed. This time, I will cut off one of your arms and cripple your cultivation. Xiao Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his eyes flickering. How arrogant! The upper echelons of the 100 Flowers Gate, the Yun branch family, and the Iron Blood division were all shocked. From their point of view, Xiao Feng was the weaker party against the fan-flying bandit. From Xiao Feng's tone, it seemed like the fan-flying bandit had lost to him before. Is it real or fake? The new chapter leader defeated the fan-flying bandit and cut off one of his arms. It can't be. Xiao Feng just broke through to the true spirit realm, he was only at the transcending mortality realm. The other three forces were puzzled. Hearing Xiao Feng's words, the fan-flying bandit roared in anger. His face was filled with killing intent and he felt that he had lost all face. That day at the Transverse Water Bay, he had been tricked by Xiao Feng and defeated. This was the greatest humiliation of his life. And now, Xiao Feng had revealed this in front of everyone. The fan-flying bandit's angry expression surprised everyone. Could this be the truth? Die! The fan-flying bandit's killing intent exploded to the extreme and he trembled in anger. Hu Shua! He waved the water moon god peach fan in his hand and a terrifying ice blue fan shadow seemed to have the power to melt a 1,000,000-kilogram ice mountain. Everywhere it passed, the mountains would be flattened. The water moon immortal peach fan was, after all, the only offensive weapon of the water moon 4 treasures. Even those at the true mystic rank would be moved by this attack. Chio! Xiao Feng's figure flashed and turned into lightning as the Yin shadow cloak on his back shook. Shua shua! Xiao Feng split into 3. 3 identical Xiao Fengs charged towards the fan-flying bandit from 3 different directions. This was the Yin shadow cloak's ability to create shadow doppelgangers. Now that Xiao Feng's cultivation had reached a high enough level, he could use the Yin shadow cloak's secret technique. Even the experts at the true spirit realm couldn't tell which of the 3 Xiao Fengs were real and which were fake. All of you, die! The fan-flying bandit waved his fan and its power increased, enveloping the 3 Xiao Fengs. Even 3 true human rank experts wouldn't be able to escape unscathed from the water moon god peach fan's attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 of the shadow doppelgangers were instantly destroyed when they neared the fan-flying bandit. The 3rd Xiao Feng ran out of the range of the attack and ran off into the distance. Where do you think you're going? The fan-flying bandit licked his lips and soon chased after him. Whoosh! The 3rd Xiao Feng was destroyed by the fan. The fan-flying bandit realized that the situation wasn't good. With Xiao Feng's strength, it was impossible for him to be killed by one fan. He had experienced the opponent's strength and schemes before. Shua! A 3-colored lotus platform surrounded by petals appeared out of thin air on the other side with a blue-haired youth in tow. Don't forget that Xiao Feng's Yin shadow cloak had a strong concealment ability. The crowd went into an uproar as the upper echelon of the 3 forces exclaimed. Would Xiao Feng fight with the fan-flying bandit? Of course not. After a 360-degree turn, he threw off the fan-flying bandit and charged towards the 100-flower chapter. His goal was to save Qinmengjin. Before, when Xiao Feng said that he had defeated the fan-flying bandit before, he acted as if victory was already in his grasp. In reality, he was trying to create a strong atmosphere. Under this atmosphere, who would have thought that he would run away? All of this was to get rid of the fan-flying bandit and make ample preparations. Wanting Zhao Feng to fight the fan-flying bandit head-on. He wasn't that dumb. This was a thankless task and wouldn't affect the big picture much, unless he could beat the fan-flying bandit in a short amount of time. However, the problem was that the fan-flying bandit had lost to Zhao Feng once before. Now that his battle power had increased greatly, he wouldn't underestimate his opponent. The same method wouldn't work. At this moment, Zhao Feng had successfully thrown off the fan-flying bandit and charged into the 100-flower chapters formation. Ripple of lightning. Boom! An azure ripple of lightning appeared on Zhao Feng's body and spread in all directions. Those below the true spirit realm were instantly killed. With Zhao Feng's help, Dai Yi successfully reached Qinmengzhen. The rescue plan was slowly approaching success. Everyone on the Iron Blood Branch's side was filled with anticipation. If you take another step forward, I'll kill him. A true human rank expert from the 100-flower chapter grabbed Qinmengzhen's neck and threatened. Dai Yi's footsteps froze and she didn't know whether to advance or retreat. Zhao Feng, don't think you'll succeed. The fan-flying bandit leapt over from behind. Zhao Feng calculated the time and distance before ordering Dai Yi, kill your way over and save her. Dai Yi was slightly hesitant, but she couldn't disobey Zhao Feng's order and leapt towards Qinmengzhen. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood Religion chapter's expression changed. Does chapter leader not care about the vice chapter leader's safety? The enemy had a true human rank expert that held Qinmengzhen's life. If they tried to force their way in, the enemy would kill Qinmengzhen without mercy. Am I going to die here? This new chapter leader is so heartless. A trace of bitterness appeared on the corner of Qinmengzhen's mouth, and her face was filled with sorrow. Zhao Feng's emotionless order chilled the hearts of the members of the Iron Blood Religion chapter. Only the fan-flying bandit suddenly thought of something and his expression changed. Kill that woman. He had fought with Zhao Feng before and knew how terrifying this youth was. However, his warning was too late. Zhao Feng stood on the 3-flowered treasured lotus and looked down. His faint blue left eye was like a freezing pond. An invisible coldness seeped through the air and into the mental energy world. Ah! The true human rank expert that was holding Qinmengzhen shivered when he met Zhao Feng's gaze. Immediately following that, he felt Zhao Feng's left eye turn into an icy abyss that drowned his consciousness. After reaching the true spirit realm, the power of Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye had increased dramatically. Plop! The true human rank expert that was holding Qinmengzhen was drenched in sweat. His eyes were filled with fear and shock. He had no energy left in his mind and couldn't control his body. This scene stunned everyone present. Everyone only saw Zhao Feng's left eye glance at the true human rank expert and cause him to instantly crumble and fall. Immediately following that, in half a breath's time, the 2 half-step true spirit realm experts next to Qinmengzhen fell to the ground and fainted. What a terrifying eye bloodline! The head of the Yun family who was in the middle of the battle took in a cold breath. Yun Sha, Elder Gao, and the upper echelon of the Iron Blood Religion chapter were dazed. Qinmengzhen, who was the person in question, was dazed as her eyes bulged out. This is the chapter leader's eye bloodline. Dai Yi was dazed for an instant before coming back to her senses and successfully saving Qinmengzhen. Hua! The members of the Iron Blood Religion chapter reacted and exclaimed. Once Qinmengzhen, the deputy branch leader, was rescued, the situation of the battle would definitely be reversed. With the addition of Zhao Feng, killing the true human rank experts, throwing off the fan-flying bandit and saving Qinmengzhen only took 10 breaths. In other words, in just 10 breaths, Zhao Feng had changed the situation. Zhao Feng, it's useless even if you save her. She's been hit by my heaven fragrance softening. Not only will she lose her battle power for 3 days, her bones will also soften into mud. The fan-flying bandit's wicked laughter shook the entire battlefield. How could he not have thought of a backup plan when he wanted to threaten Qinmengzhen? Heaven fragrance softening. Information from the Mystic Flower Treasured Bible appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. The Mystic Flower Treasured Bible could be said to be the culmination of the Wicked Path and had absorbed the essence of the entire 100-flower chapter. Come. Bring me poison spider liquid, curved stone, a bucket of horse urine, ice-cold pills and 10 other cold elemental spiritual pills. Zhao Feng ordered. Yes, chapter leader. Although the people of the Iron Blood Religion chapter didn't understand, they still followed the chapter leader's orders. However, as soon as Zhao Feng gave the order, the fan-flying bandit's expression changed dramatically. How is this possible? You know the antidote for the heaven fragrance softening? This is a secret of the 100-flower chapter. The Iron Blood Religion had many disciples and the ingredients that Zhao Feng gave were all very common. In less than 10 breaths, all the ingredients were gathered. Poison liquid, ice-cold pills, curved stone and other common plants were all mixed into the horse urine and splashed onto Qinmengzhen. Qinmengzhen felt her soft bones become stronger and stronger and she was overjoyed. At this moment, Zhao Feng was facing the furious counterattack of the fan-flying bandit. Chapter 318. Zhao Feng was expressionless as he activated the defense of the 3-flowered treasured lotus, forming 3 colored petals around him. Now that he had reached the true spirit realm, the 3-flowered treasured lotus's power had increased greatly. Lightning beam. Balls of lightning the size of an arm shot out from Zhao Feng's palm towards the fan-flying bandit. Although these balls of lightning weren't as sharp as the blade of lightning, they had a strong momentum and destructive power that was suitable for a head-on clash. However, facing the fan-flying bandit this time, it would be a tough battle. The fan-flying bandit had planned against Zhao Feng, so how could he not have made preparations? Crack! Crack! The water moon god peach fan in his hand turned into an umbrella shape and spun at a high speed, easily dispelling Zhao Feng's lightning. The water moon god peach fan could turn into an umbrella shape, but its weakness was that it could only defend one side, unlike the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Last time in the transverse water stronghold, the fan-flying bandit didn't even think about defending because he had suppressed the entire battlefield. It was only because he had underestimated his opponent that he was tricked by Zhao Feng. Furthermore, this time, the 3-flowered treasured lotus hypnotic and aphrodisiac fragrance had a much lower effect on the fan-flying bandit. In the last battle, the 3-flowered treasured lotus hypnotic fragrance had made the fan-flying bandit more tired, which was then found by Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. Therefore, the fan-flying bandit had returned to the sect and created an antidote that had 60 to 70% resistance against the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Not only have I created an antidote, I've also prepared a rare soul treasure that can increase one's resistance against mental energy. The fan-flying bandit's eyes were filled with smugness. Zhao Feng's 3-flowered treasured lotus had a strong fragrance, so he had created an antidote. Zhao Feng's mental energy was strong, so he had prepared a soul treasure. The fan-flying bandit can already use the true power of the water moon god peach fan. He has both offense and defense and doesn't need to be afraid of normal true human rank experts. Furthermore, he's come prepared this time. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. Like this, his and the fan-flying bandit's offense, defense, and speed were all perfect. The fan-flying bandit had the water moon god peach fan, so his offense was naturally stronger. However, the problem was that Zhao Feng had the 3-flowered treasured lotus, so his defense was stronger. In terms of speed and movement techniques, both sides were equally matched. As time went on, the battle between Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit became even more intense. Lightning flashed in every direction, creating a shocking scene. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye and used a mental illusion technique. Buzz! A Buddhist bead on the fan-flying bandit's chest let out a mysterious glow as the chanting of scriptures entered his ears. The fan-flying bandit's body shook as cold sweat appeared on his forehead as he struggled over. How could Zhao Feng not find a flaw in his mental illusion technique? Even though the fan-flying bandit had a soul Dao treasure, he almost fell for it. Soul path treasures were extremely rare, and there were strong and weak ones. The fan-flying bandit's soul path treasure was equivalent to peak mortal grade. Damn it, the fan-flying bandit felt troubled. His water moon god Peach Fan was extremely powerful and had many wicked methods. Even peak true human rank opponents would be defeated by it. However, Zhao Feng had the three-flowered treasured lotus and his god's spiritual eye, which countered all his methods. In reality, the water moon god Peach Fan could also use mental illusions. As a wicked item, its purpose was to complement the perfume and poison. However, the fan-flying bandit had tried this mental illusion technique before, and although it worked on others, it had no effect on Zhao Feng. Right at this moment, Chen Mengzhen of the Iron Blood Religion chapter had recovered and entered the battlefield. Chen Mengzhen was grateful to Zhao Feng and wanted to help deal with the fan-flying bandit. Go and help the others. Zhao Feng's voice sounded in her mind. Yes, chapter leader. Chen Mengzhen looked respectfully at Zhao Feng. Only when this youth saved her did Chen Mengzhen feel the terrifying power of his eye bloodline. At this moment, Zhao Feng had successfully stopped the fan-flying bandit. If it was her or Yun Sha, they wouldn't have been able to do this. With the addition of Chen Mengzhen, the situation started to turn. Chen Mengzhen and Dai Yi were both deputy chapter leaders and successfully killed or heavily injured 2 or 3 true human rank experts. Then, Chen Mengzhen joined Yun Sha's battle and suppressed the head of the Yun family. The head of the Yun family roared in anger and helplessly led his men to retreat. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Saving Chen Mengzhen was indeed the key to turning the situation around. After the Yun side family retreated, the 100 Flower chapter's morale dropped and they were killed by Dai Yi and company. Chapter leader. I'll lend you a hand. Dai Ye's arms waved a pair of butterfly blades as she joined Zhao Feng's battle. In terms of battle power, Dai Yi wasn't weaker than Yun Sha or Chen Mengzhen and wasn't much weaker than the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng teamed up with Dai Yi to suppress the fan-flying bandit. Zhao Feng, if you have the skills, let's fight one-on-one. The fan-flying bandit roared as his lungs were about to explode. He didn't want Zhao Feng to turn the situation around under this situation. If the same situation happened a second time, it would be humiliating. Zhao Feng had also used 70 to 80% of his bloodline power and a layer of cold blue lines appeared on his skin. With the addition of his bloodline power, each of his attacks seemed to contain a coldness that filled the soul. While his power increased, his intent also attacked the soul. The fan-flying bandit was slightly tired after fighting for so long. Although he had a soul treasure, Zhao Feng's mental energy illusions were too strong. In terms of mental energy, Zhao Feng was many times stronger than those at the same cultivation. It was just that most of it was in a passive state and couldn't be used. With the addition of Dai Yi, Zhao Feng would also use mental energy illusions when he had time. The god's spiritual eye scanned over the experts near the 100 Flower chapter. Plop! Plop! Another true human rank and several experts at half-step true spirit realm knelt on the ground and were killed by the Iron Blood Religion chapter. The situation of the battle was one-sided. Zhao Feng's strength wasn't the strongest here, but it affected every corner of the battlefield. The Iron Blood Religion chapter's counterattack. The 100 Flower chapter was defeated. The Yun side family ran away. Zhao Feng and Dai Yi were responsible for killing the fan-flying bandit. The fan-flying bandit was enraged. Zhao Feng and Dai Yi's combined attacks had already injured him. Fan-flying bandit, I've said before that I'll cut off your other arm and cripple your cultivation. Zhao Feng exclaimed coldly as he fought more and more fiercely. His source of true spirit was starting to form and it wasn't any weaker than those at the early stages of the true human rank. He also had his bloodline power, God's spiritual eye and lightning inheritance. Furthermore, Zhao Feng also had the mystic flower treasured Bible which allowed him to counter the fan-flying bandit's wicked methods. The fan-flying bandit gritted his teeth and closed the water moon god Peach Fan with a pa la. Chio, 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 7 deadly weapons were shot out from the water moon god Peach Fan. In the air, the 7 weapons were darts, poison needles, rain needles. All sorts of weapons crossed each other. Each weapon's speed was extremely fast and surpassed the speed of sound. Their screeching sounds almost surpassed the reaction speed of those at the true human rank. Under normal situations, one weapon alone had the chance to kill a true human rank. In theory, the 7 hidden weapons could kill a true mystic rank cultivator. Not good. Dai Yi barely managed to dodge 3 arc darts and the other poison needle almost brushed past her hair. There was also a terrifying storm of needles, like a drizzle, covering the sky and earth. Shwa shwa. With the sound of lightning, Zhao Feng flew over and pulled Dai Yi into the 3-flowered treasured lotus. Ding ding poo, with the 3-flowered treasured lotus strong defense, it barely blocked the attacks of the weapons. Zhao Feng was also shocked, but luckily his reaction was fast enough. If not, he would be able to keep his life, but Dai Yi would be in danger. Thanks. Dai Yi stuck out her tongue and felt fear. Using this time, the fan-flying bandit flew through the air with a face full of hatred and unwillingness. He originally thought that the 7 weapons would be able to heavily injure or kill Dai Yi. However, Zhao Feng's reaction was too fast, and the instant the fan-flying bandit used his weapons, he saw through it. Fan-flying bandit, you won't be able to escape from us. Zhao Feng's laughter thundered through the air and could be heard from dozens of miles away. He had the 3-flowered treasured lotus which helped him fly faster and used less true force. Furthermore, Dai Ye's true force could be injected into the 3-flowered treasured lotus to increase its speed. Zhao Feng and Dai Ye's speed was much faster than the fan-flying bandit, and they chased after him. The fan-flying bandit was in a ruffled state and had used up a lot of his true force. His mental energy was exhausted and there were several wounds on his body. His face was burnt black and his hair was smoking. The most troublesome thing was that Zhao Feng would find a flaw and use his mental energy technique every few moments, causing the fan-flying bandit to almost fall for it. Because of this, his mental energy was exhausted and he didn't have the heart to fight anymore. Unfortunately, I don't have a strong long-range weapon. Zhao Feng was slightly regretful. The Luoho Bao was only a mortal-grade weapon and didn't pose much of a threat to the fan-flying bandit. Chapter Leader, the fan-flying bandit won't be able to last long. Dai Yi smiled faintly. At this point in the battle, the fan-flying bandit was exhausted and he had used up more true force than Zhao Feng and Dai Yi. At a certain moment, Zhao Feng found a chance and opened his god's spiritual eye to use his mental energy technique again. The tired fan-flying bandit's resistance had decreased and the mysterious glow of the prayer beads on his chest had dimmed. Shwa! The fan-flying bandit's mind shook and his consciousness was pulled away. Shwa! In the next instant, a blade of lightning condensed in Zhao Feng's hand and appeared next to the fan-flying bandit. Ah! Before the fan-flying bandit could react, his remaining arm was cut off by Zhao Feng's blade of lightning, and blood splattered everywhere. Along with the arm, the water moon god Peach Fan also fell. The water moon god Peach Fan and the 3-flowered treasured lotus were a perfect match. Zhao Feng's heart moved and he was about to take action. Meow meow. The little thieving cat jumped out and snatched the water moon immortal Peach Fan in a flash. My god Peach Fan. The fan-flying bandit's eyes were bright red but he couldn't care too much. He burned his chi of true spirit and pushed Zhao Feng away before leaping towards the little thieving cat. Meow meow. The little thieving cat flashed and disappeared. At this point in time, the fan-flying bandit who had lost both his arms couldn't increase his battle power even if he burned his chi of true spirit. Zhao Feng immediately returned to the three-flowered treasured lotus in case the fan-flying bandit tried to self-destruct. However, he had overestimated the fan-flying bandit. Run! The fan-flying bandit only wanted to live and didn't mind burning his chi of true spirit to double his speed. Chapter 319. Although the fan-flying bandit's strength was comparable to normal true mystic ranks, he didn't have the courage to die together with them. He, who'd lost both his arms, was like a bachelor. His heart was filled with despair, and he only had the thought to drag out an ignoble existence to survive. Fan-flying bandit, this is the second time you've come. I've said before that I'll cut off one of your arms and cripple your cultivation. Zhao Feng said emotionlessly as his three-flowered treasured lotus chased after the fan-flying bandit. The fan-flying bandit had burned his chi of true spirit and his speed had surpassed the true human rank and was even slightly faster than normal true mystic ranks. The distance between Zhao Feng and the fan-flying bandit was slowly increasing. Unfortunately, I don't have a strong long-range weapon. Zhao Feng felt slightly regretful. The Luoho Bao's power wasn't enough against the peak true human rank fan-flying bandit. Chapter leader, the 100-flower chapter has lost and the fan-flying bandit has lost both his arms. He's no longer a threat. If we keep chasing, I'm afraid. Dai Yi warned. From her point of view, forcing the fan-flying bandit to this point was already a good result. Zhao Feng understood Dai Ye's meaning. The reason why the fan-flying bandit didn't have the determination to die together was because he still had a sliver of life. If he didn't even have this sliver of life, the fan-flying bandit would burn his chi of true spirit and most likely choose to die together. I can keep him hanging. A smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. His god's spiritual eye could see 1,000 miles away and he could keep the distance. He just needed to wait for the fan-flying bandit to run out of true force. Soon, the fan-flying bandit disappeared from sight. However, Zhao Feng was still able to lock onto his target without panicking. No wonder. Dai Ye's heart moved as she met Zhao Feng's cold left eye. She felt as if her heart had been pierced. Zhao Feng's eye bloodline couldn't be judged by normal standards. Its tracking ability was top tier. The fan-flying bandit had betrayed him the entire way, but he felt a coldness in his heart. It was as if there was an eye looking down on him. His heartbeat quickened, and he felt as though his blood was about to freeze. Boundless pressure came from the top of his head, and he felt like he was about to collapse. He suddenly turned his head and saw an eye of heaven coldly looking down at him. Whoosh! His eyes blurred. The eye of heaven just now was just a mental illusion. If his senses weren't wrong, then his opponent's eye bloodline was too terrifying. It had the power to rival the heavens and earth. What just happened? Zhao Feng jumped up in fright. He had pushed his god's spiritual eye to the extreme to lock onto the fan-flying bandit and exert mental energy pressure. At a certain moment, he felt that his consciousness had jumped out of his body and was high up in the clouds, overlooking the world. At that moment, he seemed to stand side by side with the heavens and the earth, overlooking all living beings and ruling over the ages. If it's just an illusion, why did I consume 10% of my mind source in an instant? Zhao Feng was shocked. Half the time it took to make tea later, the fan-flying bandit's chi of true spirit stopped burning and he was exhausted. Zhao Feng maintained 100 miles distance from him. The fan-flying bandit's eyes and spiritual sense weren't able to reach this far. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two sounds of something tearing through the air could be heard from the mountain range ahead. A male and a female entered the fan-flying bandit's vision. When did they catch up to me? Impossible, definitely impossible. The fan-flying bandit panicked. He had clearly burned his chi of true spirit to fly, how could they catch up? Looking closely, the fan-flying bandit let out a breath. The newcomer was a male and female, but they weren't Zhao Feng or Dai Lan. One of them was a young man that wore an azure cloud battle robe. His face was white like a piece of carved jade, and he was extraordinarily handsome. He carried an ancient blade with an azure edge on his back. Beside the young man was a young girl in a red robe. She had clear eyebrows and red lips. Zhao Feng also saw the male and female through his god's spiritual eye. The battle-robed youth had reached the early stages of the true human rank and was around 30 years old. Could this youth be the #1 genius of the main Yun family, Tian Yunji, who has the bloodline of both the Tian and Yun families and is ranked third on the country's new star rankings? The fan-flying bandit's eyes scanned across the battle-robed youth and his heart jumped as he tried to dodge. The male and female were riding a flying beast and passed by the fan-flying bandit. "Brother, that person's in a bad state. Both his arms have been cut off. Is there someone chasing after him?" the red-robed girl said unwillingly. Hearing this, the fan-flying bandit's heart jumped to his throat. The battle-robed youth couldn't help but look at the fan-flying bandit again. "Wait." A cold and clear voice suddenly sounded. The fan-flying bandit's body froze as he forced a smile. "What do you two want?" The battle-robed youth turned around and coldly inspected the fan-flying bandit. He felt that this bandit was familiar. Furthermore, when they passed each other just then, the other seemed to be uneasy. The battle-robed youth furrowed his eyebrows. "Are you from the 100-Flower chapter?" "Nope. How could I be a bandit from the 100-Flower chapter? I'm an elder of the Yunside family. Because I fought with the Iron Blood chapter, I lost. If you two can help me block the enemies behind me, I will be extremely grateful." Zhao Feng stood on the 3-flowered treasured lotus and saw Tian Yunji and the red-robed girl. "Thank you for killing this bandit." Zhao Feng smiled faintly and clasped his fists. He didn't know Tian Yunji and the other girl, but the enemy of an enemy was a friend. Furthermore, Tian Yunji's strength and comprehension made Zhao Feng admire him. 3-flowered treasured lotus. "Who are you?" Tian Yunji's expression was cold as he inspected Zhao Feng and Dai Yi. Zhao Feng had the 3-flowered treasured lotus and the water moon god peach fan, which made Tian Yunji suspicious. "Tian Yunji, don't be arrogant. This is the new chapter leader of the Iron Blood Religion chapter. If we didn't help, you wouldn't have been able to kill the bandit so easily." Dai Yi harumphed coldly. Tian Yunji was one of the 10 stars of the country and the top genius of the main branch of the Tian family. Chapter leader. Tian Yunji's heart jumped. He obviously knew how strong the Iron Blood religion was. However, this was the first time he had seen such a young chapter leader. "Could it be, you're that Zhao Feng? The unlucky youth that escaped the marriage in the flooding lake city and kidnapped the princess?" Tian Yunji's eyes flickered as a strong battle intent rose within him. At this moment, both Tian Yunji and Zhao Feng were famous geniuses in the country. Tian Yunji was one of the 10 stars and there was no need to talk about him. Although Zhao Feng wasn't on the list, his deeds had shocked the country. Escaping the marriage in the flooding lake city, kidnapping Empress Qin and becoming the youngest chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion. All of these achievements made the other geniuses pale in comparison. Chapter leader, be careful. This Tian Yunji is the top genius of the main branch of the Yun family. He has the bloodline of both the Tian and Yun families and has comprehended the embryonic form of blade intent. His battle power is unparalleled. Dai Yi secretly messaged Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng nodded his head and said a few words to Tian Yunji before turning around and heading back to the chapter. Right now, the chapter needed him to stabilize the situation. "Brother Tian, you clearly wanted to challenge him. Why did you give up? Are you afraid of him?" The red-robed girl giggled. "Afraid of him? I, Tian Yunji, have never been afraid of anyone in the same generation. However, his bloodline and his eyes made my bloodline power feel pressure that I had never felt before. Since he's in such a hurry, we'll have a chance to spar next time," Tian Yunji said. Are you sure you'll have a chance in the future? He's a chapter leader and has many things to deal with. The red-robed girl seemed to like arguing with him. Such a peak genius can make my bloodline feel pressured. The Iron Blood religion will definitely recommend him to the Sacred True Dragon Gathering. There's also that Xian Wuheng from the 10,000 Origin clan. He beat me with one hand a year ago, but I have to thank him for igniting the potential of my blade intent. All my glory will be shown in the Sacred True Dragon Gathering. Forget it, Xian Wuheng is already a miracle star in the northern continent. Half a year ago, he fought with the head disciple of the Heavenly Yuan clan, Mo Tianyi, and only lost by half. Mo Tianyi was one of the top 10 geniuses in the last Sacred True Dragon Gathering. Chapter 320. On the way back. Zhao Feng touched the ancient and elegant fan in his hand while the little thieving cat sat on his shoulder and asked for credit. Chapter leader, now that you have both the Water Moon God Peach fan and the three-flowered treasured lotus, you're truly unrivaled amongst those of the same cultivation and can even fight against normal true mystic ranks. Dai Yi smiled and congratulated. Of the Water Moon 4 treasures, the Water Moon God Peach fan was used for offense while the three-flowered treasured lotus was used for defense. This attack and defense was the perfect partner. What no one knew was that Zhao Feng had also inherited the Mystic Flower treasured Bible. This Water Moon Immortal Peach fan is truly exquisite. It contains 7 storage compartments that can store 7 kinds of powerful hidden weapons. It's hard to guard against them. Zhao Feng had the Water Moon Pirate's inheritance and his understanding of the Water Moon 4 treasures wasn't any weaker than any of the 100 Flower chapter disciples. The Water Moon God Peach fan could even turn into an umbrella in an emergency. What made Zhao Feng happy was that the Water Moon God Peach fan could use mental energy illusions and increase the effect of mental energy attacks. All in all, after obtaining the Water Moon God Peach fan, Zhao Feng no longer had any weaknesses. On the way, Zhao Feng sat on the three-flowered treasured lotus and started to refine the Water Moon God Peach fan. The Water Moon Immortal Peach fan was essentially a type of inheritance divine weapon. It required a special cultivation technique or bloodline to refine. Zhao Feng had the Mystic Flower treasured Bible and had his own way to refine it. An hour later, Zhao Feng and Dai Yi returned to the Iron Blood chapter. At this point in time, Zhao Feng had refined 60 to 70% of the Water Moon God Peach fan. Normal weapons didn't need to be refined and only needed to be compatible with the weapon. Inheritance divine weapons were a little more special. Many of them had to meet the corresponding requirements. Chapter leader. The 100 Flower chapter and Yunside family have both been defeated and suffered heavy losses. Chapter leader. We've captured 2 experts at the True Spirit Realm and 9 at Half-Step True Spirit Realm from the 100 Flower chapter and Yunside family. This time, the 100 Flower chapter has suffered heavy losses and will be removed from the Thousand Water River area. The Yun family's branch family has suffered great losses and is powerless to contend against us. As Zhao Feng sat in the main seat of the conference hall, the people below sent him exciting news. Shui Sha and Chen Mengzhen, the 2 deputy branch leaders, sat on either side of Zhao Feng with complicated expressions in their eyes. Chen Mengzhen's face was filled with admiration and gratitude. She no longer dared to have any other thoughts towards Zhao Feng. Shui Sha was unwilling, but it was replaced by more fear. Everyone could see that it was this new branch leader who had turned the tide, resolved the crisis, and defeated the Yun branch family and the 100 Flowers Gate. Zhao Feng's gaze swept across the entire hall, and the entire hall fell silent. Everyone could feel the sharpness and coldness of the division leader's mysterious left eye. There was an indescribable mental pressure. Shui Sha, lead a group of people and chase after the remnants of the 100 Flowers Gate. At the very least, chase them out of the Thousand Waters region. Chen Mengzhen, you will be responsible for guarding the branch and monitoring the movements of the Yun branch family and other forces. If there is any abnormal reaction, report to me immediately. Zhao Feng's expression was cold as he gave out the orders. Now that the situation had been decided, he needed to be steady. Stability was more important than anything else. I've just broken through to the true spirit realm and have just become the 1000 Water chapter leader. I need to stabilize the situation and increase my strength. Zhao Feng had his own plan. Today, Zhao Feng had just come out of seclusion, so he had held back his strength and hadn't truly unleashed it. For example, his bloodline power hadn't been pushed to the limit, and his source of true spirit hadn't been furiously circulated. This was to stabilize his cultivation, and he also wanted to leave some backup plans. As long as Zhao Feng was given some time to completely refine the water moon god peach fan, consolidate his source of true spirit, and absorb the essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible to complement his lightning inheritance, his strength would definitely reach another level. On the same day, the Iron Blood chapter chased after the remnants of the 100 Flowers Gate. Within half a month, the 100 Flowers Gate was almost annihilated. Only a small number of people managed to escape from the 1000 Water region. This was only because Zhao Feng gave face to the Water Moon Pirate and didn't kill them all. In this period of time, the other small forces of the 1000 Water region saw the changes in the situation and were all extremely careful. Chen Mengzhen was responsible for defending and controlling the movements of the other forces. At the same time, after half a month, Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had completely stabilized, and in terms of cultivation, it wasn't any weaker than those at the early stages of the true human rank. The water moon god peach fan had been successfully refined by Zhao Feng and he knew how to use it. With the water moon god peach fan, Zhao Feng didn't need a weapon in close combat, so he gave the mystic snake blood whip to the little thieving cat. In terms of value, the mystic snake blood whip was close to the water moon god peach fan, but it was better at supporting and killing the enemy. Chen Mengzhen's eyebrows furrowed. It's best if we wait for Tian Yunji to leave and then we can think about it. After all, he's the #1 genius of the main Tian family. With the chapter leader here, a measly Tian Yunji isn't worth mentioning. Furthermore, the forces of the headquarters are unable to interfere in the battles between the branch clans and branches. Most of the time, they keep each other in check. Yun Sha snickered coldly. The two vice-chapter leaders had different opinions and started to argue. Dai Lan, what do you think? Zhao Feng's gaze turned towards Dai Lan. After the previous battle, Zhao Feng made Dai Lan the protector of the chapter. Even the vice-chapter leader couldn't order her around. If there's someone in the chapter that can suppress Tian Yunji, then they have a chance of winning. Furthermore, we still have to worry about the Bai side family sending reinforcements to the Yun side family. Dai Lan didn't give her opinion and instead explained the situation. The key was who would deal with Tian Yunji. Secondly, they had to defend against the reinforcements from the Bai side family. In reality, the Bai and Yun subclans in the 1000 Water River region weren't considered strong. The Yun side family was average and the Bai side family was slightly weaker. I've just arrived at the 1000 Water chapter and need to stabilize the situation before I can cultivate and prepare for the sacred true dragon gathering. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled as he thought for a long time. A shocking order sounded in the hall. From today onwards, attack the Yun side family and Bai side family at the same time. The moment this order was given, the upper echelons of the Iron Blood chapter were shocked. Even Yun Sha jumped up in fright and laughed in his heart. Do you think Tian Yunji is so easy to deal with? Although the two side families are on the decline, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. Chapter leader, isn't this a bit rushed? Dai Lan felt that it wasn't right. I've made up my mind. The Iron Blood chapter has the highest number of middle and lower tier members. This is our biggest advantage. Furthermore, we have more than 10 experts at the True Spirit realm, and many of them are elites. Zhao Feng made the final decision. From today onwards, the Iron Blood chapter started to gather a large amount of people. Usually, some hidden elites, some hidden forces, and some subordinate forces gathered around the chapter. At this point in time, the Thousand Water River area was in chaos and many small forces were uneasy. Normal small forces might not have any experts at the true spirit realm or only have 2 or 3. In a few days' time, the Iron Blood chapter started to attack the Yunside family. At this point in time, blood-robed figures arrived at the Yunside family. At the same time, on the other side, Zhao Feng sent Chen Mengzhen to attack the Bai-side family mainly to stall them. The Bai-side family was relatively weak. They only had 1 peak true human rank and the other 2 were average. All Chen Mengzhen needed to do was to keep the Bai-side family occupied so that they couldn't rescue the Yun-side family, and even more so, they couldn't rescue the Yun-side family. The true battlefield was on the side of the Yun-side family. Zhao Feng led Yun Sha, Dai Lan, and the other upper echelon members to attack the Yun-side family. The Yun-side family faced a great danger and everyone was panicking. Great Hall of the Yun-side family. Old family leader, you don't need to worry. As long as I kill or defeat the new chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion, we'll be able to escape. Tian Yunji slowly stood up and said with a domineering voice. An invisible cold blade intent spread out and made everyone feel as if their hearts were being cut by a blade. The old family leader of the Yun-side family said happily, "Luckily you arrived. Otherwise, with the Iron Blood religion's current strength and that terrifying chapter leader, most people at the true spirit realm wouldn't even be able to block one glance from him. Mental energy illusions are just a side skill. My blade intent can cut through the void and counter it. Plus, I've been waiting to fight him for a long time." Tian Yunji's fighting spirit rose faintly. Last time, Zhao Feng had just come out of seclusion and his source of true spirit wasn't stable, so he didn't dare to go all out. But now, his source of true spirit and the second floor of the lightning inheritance had both stabilized and strengthened. Now that he was going all out, the power of Zhao Feng's lightning inheritance charged towards Tian Yunji. Tian Yunji's every step was difficult and he couldn't even get close to Zhao Feng. The arcs of lightning made him feel tired. He had blade intent and his battle power was strong, but the opponent's lightning technique was also extremely powerful. Furthermore, Zhao Feng seemed to be taking a stroll, as if he hadn't used his full strength yet. Hu Tian Yunji took a deep breath. Blue and white blood runes suddenly appeared on his left and right arms, and his aura rose to another level. Bloodline power. The bloodline inheritances of the Tian and Yun families. People from both sides cried out in surprise. The 2 bloodline powers increased Tian Yunji's offense, defense, physical strength, and explosive power to a certain extent. Crack the green lightning around Zhao Feng was slashed apart by Tian Yunji's blade. Offense increased by 40%, defense increased by 20%, body power increased by 20%, explosiveness. Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye locked onto Tian Yunji and could feel the increase in the opponent's battle power. The bloodline power allowed Tian Yunji to break through the limits of cultivation. Shua! Zhao Feng turned into a flash of lightning and disappeared. Sky Cloud River breaking slash. In the next instant, a blazing azure streak of light radiating with blue and white energy slashed where Zhao Feng was just a moment ago. Boom! The banks of the river below were almost cut into 2 by the saber, and the river stopped flowing in that instant. Everyone was dead silent. What a powerful slash! Even those as strong as Yun Sha and company trembled. Sky Cloud River breaking slash can break rivers. Ji used this move above her cultivation, but unfortunately, that brat dodged it. The head of the Yun family had a regretful expression. How could he dodge the speed of this saber? Tian Yunji's blood boiled and his face went white. That slash just then could instantly kill most true human ranks and heavily injure those at the true mystic rank. More importantly, that slash was also extremely fast. In theory, even those at the peak true human rank wouldn't be able to dodge it. However, Zhao Feng seemed to have predicted it and dodged it ahead of time. The timing was very precise, as if the two had worked together hundreds and thousands of times. Schwa! Zhao Feng appeared on the other side. The faint blue in his left eye seemed to be able to see through the thoughts of his enemies. Humph, how can your bloodline and chi of true spirit escape my eyes? Zhao Feng snickered coldly in his heart. Mystic Flower Lightning Charm Step. Green lightning surged on his body, and with a buzz sound, his body suddenly turned into a ghostly shadow, and electric arcs darted in all directions. In that instant, Zhao Feng's speed skyrocketed, and he merged a style that he had never seen before into the lightning inheritance. On the surface, there was a kind of ghostly change, but it didn't lose its elegance and agility. Lightning flashed in the air, dazzling everyone's eyes. Tian Yunji's eyes blurred and he was unable to lock onto Zhao Feng. A coldness seeped into his heart and made him feel uneasy. Chapter 322. 100 years ago, the famous water moon pirate cultivated the mystic flower treasured Bible, and his speed allowed him to look down on the great countries. The water moon pirate used his extreme speed to sneak into the treasuries of various clans and steal many treasures. Even those at the true lord rank couldn't do anything to him. Mystic Flower Lightning Charm Step. Zhao Feng's figure was like a blur of lightning. At first glance, it was as if countless petals of a lotus had bloomed. It turned out that Zhao Feng had absorbed some of the mystic flower treasured Bible's essence and merged it into his lightning inheritance. The lightning inheritance was extremely profound and powerful. Zhao Feng still focused on it, but the mystic flower treasured Bible was more practical and the usage of movement techniques was more perfect. Therefore, Zhao Feng absorbed the essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible and merged it into his lightning inheritance. Right now, the fusion rate was only around 10%. However, even so, Zhao Feng's usage of speed had improved. Cold sweat appeared on Tian Yunji's forehead. He had never seen such a terrifying speed amongst the younger generation. Even his spiritual sense couldn't catch it. Zhao Feng's movement skill was as fast as lightning and as ghostly as a ghost. Blurry afterimages intertwined with each other, making it hard to pass off as real. Blade of Lightning. Amidst the ghostly silhouette of lightning, a sharp electric blade appeared. It was about 5 feet long and was formed by tiny green electric arcs. It was vibrating at a high speed. Schwa! The lightning blade was as elusive as the ghostly figure. With unpredictable methods and angles, it ruthlessly slashed at the side of Tian Yunji's body, precisely hitting his weak point. Ding Qi! Tian Yunji broke out in a cold sweat. Relying on the senses of his saber intent, he barely managed to block the lightning blade. Crackle! The blade of lightning exploded and a powerful ripple of lightning swept across the area. Tian Yunji's body went numb. If it wasn't for the fact that he had used his bloodline power, he would have been heavily injured. Although Tian Yunji had blocked this attack, he was in a disadvantageous position. The numbness in his body lowered his speed and agility. In terms of speed, Zhao Feng had the absolute advantage and he forced Tian Yunji into a corner. Speed was the only unbeatable skill in the world. Although Tian Yunji's battle power was comparable to Zhao Feng's after he had opened his bloodline, the difference in speed made him lose the initiative. The Mystic Flower Electric Phantom Steps fused with the Mystic Flower Unfettered Steps and the Phantom Lightning. With my current speed, I can look down on those of the same level. I might even be able to catch up to the water moon pirate back in the day. Zhao Feng's figure was like lightning as he successfully suppressed Tian Yunji. If it wasn't for the fact that Tian Yunji had comprehended blade intent and blocked Zhao Feng's attacks, he would have died many times already. Furthermore, Zhao Feng didn't even use his bloodline power to increase his battle power. He was using the sky cloud Ganoderma to familiarize himself with the mysterious flower electric charm steps that he had just comprehended. He also occasionally used some of the profound skills he had learned from the mysterious flower treasured Bible and the lightning inheritance. The more Tian Yunji fought, the more shocked he became. In this dangerous situation, his potential and blade intent were being squeezed out. If I can merge the evil essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible into the lightning inheritance, my speed will have a chance to surpass the water moon pirate. The power of the lightning inheritance will also surpass the original inheritance. An outline started to form in Zhao Feng's mind. It wasn't that he hadn't tried merging moves with moves and profoundness with profoundness when he was cultivating mortal skills. However, the skills he was cultivating now were all at the spiritual level and above. Many of the profoundness of his previous skills, such as the mystic wind palm and the broken four wind forms, were all very basic skills. When Zhao Feng suppressed Tian Yunji, the upper echelons of the Iron Blood branch and the middle and lower echelons all gained an overwhelming advantage. The Yun branch family was pushed back again and again. Tian Yunji, who had finally been invited, was suppressed by Zhao Feng. Yun Sha, Elder Gao, and the other upper echelons of the branch were shocked and admiration appeared on their faces. In terms of strength, Zhao Feng was more than qualified to be the leader of the branch. More importantly, he was still so young and was considered very young in the younger generation. His potential was limitless. Yun Sha, Dai Lan and company finally understood why the deputy patriarch liked this youth. Escaping the marriage in the flooding lake city, fighting against the bandits in the water moon treasury and kidnapping Empress Qin. How could a normal genius do such a thing? Kukiukiu. A string of ghostly figures appeared near the shore. Zhao Feng had distanced himself from Tian Yunji. Tian Yunji was gasping for breath. His forehead was covered in beads of sweat, and there were several burn marks on his body. Why didn't you continue? You almost beat me just now. Tian Yunji gritted his teeth. Zhao Feng didn't look at him. Instead, his left eye focused on the other side of the river. Plop. A true human rank Yun side family reinforcement fell from the air and half kneeled on the ground. His body was drenched in cold sweat as he looked helplessly at Zhao Feng. This true human rank expert was a guest advisor of the Yun branch family. He had heard the news and rushed over to help the Yun branch family. Every expert at the true spirit realm meant a bit of hope for the Yun branch family. However, before the upper echelons of the Yun family could rejoice, the true human rank reinforcement was defeated by Zhao Feng in one glance. Preposterous. While fighting with me, he was still paying attention to the big picture and defeating other experts at the true spirit realm. Tian Yunji was both shocked and angry. He was even more wary of Zhao Feng's strength. What did this mean? Zhao Feng didn't use his full strength against him. The opponent was paying attention to the big picture. The head of the Yun family, Yun Sha, Dai Yi, and the other experts all noticed this detail. Not only was Zhao Feng's battle power strong, he also had the intelligence to see the big picture. The Yun branch family's hope of reinforcements was destroyed by Zhao Feng. Does the heavens want my Yun branch family to die? The head of the Yun family's expression was full of sorrow as his chi of true spirit trembled and almost burned. His powerful aura pushed back Yun Sha and Dai Yi. This true mystic rank expert was old and his battle power wasn't at his peak. Otherwise, he would be able to suppress Yun Sha and Dai Yi. Head of the Yun branch family. The Yun branch family and Tian Yunji couldn't bear to see this happen. At this moment in time, the head of the Yun family was risking his life. Head of the Yun branch family, if you burn your chi of true spirit, you might be able to kill one or two experts at the true spirit realm, but your life will come to an end. Without you, the branch family of the Yun family will still be doomed. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. With his words, the battle between the Yun branch family and the Iron Blood religion fell into a short silence. What do you want? The head of the Yun family clenched his teeth. He stared closely at Zhao Feng and saw a sliver of hope. Zhao Feng leading the chapter to attack the Yun branch family seemed to be strong, but he was actually holding back. In reality, Zhao Feng had his own worries. If he destroyed the Yun branch family, the Iron Blood religion would also suffer heavy losses. This was especially so for the head of the Yun branch family. If he burned his chi of true spirit without any regard for his life, how many elites and upper echelon members would the Iron Blood religion lose? The Yun branch family surrenders and will give up half of their territory and resources. They will sign a 50-year blood contract and become a subsidiary of the Iron Blood religion. Zhao Feng said slowly. Instead of destroying the Yun branch family with heavy losses, it was better to take it easy and obtain great benefits. Hearing this, some of the upper echelons of the Yun branch family who had fallen into a desperate situation couldn't help but reveal looks of joy. The Iron Blood religion didn't actually kill them all. Instead, they proposed a condition that at least the Yun branch family wouldn't be destroyed. Zhao Feng closed the mountain river folding fan in his hand and his breathing became hurried. He raised his hand and all the members of the Iron Blood branch stopped attacking. Following Zhao Feng's powerful attack, the Yun side family's will to fight was dug out and they all surrendered without any objections. Of course, although the attack just then was powerful, it had used up 20% of Zhao Feng's chi of true spirit. On the same day, the upper echelons of both sides reached an agreement near the river. The branch family of the Yun family ceded half of their territory and resources such as the Origin Crystal Mine, and signed a 50-year blood contract. After today's battle, the situation of the Thousand Water River had completely changed. The Iron Blood branch was truly unrivaled in the Thousand Water River area. Zhao Feng's name shook the Thousand Water Zone and made countless forces, big and small, tremble in fear. Chapter 323. It could be predicted that for a long time, there would only be one voice in the Thousand Water River area. Being the chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion chapter, Zhao Feng was the uncrowned king of this area. After defeating the Yun side family, the entire Thousand Water River area will be under the control of the Iron Blood religion chapter. I can cultivate in peace and prepare for the sacred true dragon gathering. Zhao Feng's heart calmed down slightly. After the two signed the blood contract, Zhao Feng led the Iron Blood religion back to the Iron Blood religion chapter. On the other side of the river, the upper echelon of the Yun family were filled with sorrow, but there were even more people that rejoiced. The head of the Yun family had a sorrowful expression as he sent off Zhao Feng with his eyes. This brat is terrifying. Reaching the true spirit realm at such a young age. The Iron Blood religion will definitely recommend him to the sacred true dragon gathering half a year later. His gaze suddenly shifted to the charred body of Tian Yunji. Tian Yunji's face was pale white and his life aura was weak. He was currently unconscious. How's the situation? The head of the Yun family looked towards the high-leveled alchemists. With our timely treatment, his life isn't in danger. However, a large portion of his injuries come from the mental energy aspect. A white-haired old alchemist said solemnly. Mental energy injuries? My family has many rare spiritual pills that can heal injuries to the mental energy. The head of the Yun family said. We've already given him the spiritual pills and started the treatment. However, his mental energy injuries are related to the blade intent and external help is limited. He can only rely on himself. The white-haired alchemist smiled bitterly. Normal mental injuries could be slowly healed with sufficient resources and conditions. However, on the level of blade intent, even normal doctors couldn't help. What kind of background does this Zhao Feng's eye bloodline have to be able to defeat Tian Yunji's blade intent? This is troublesome. The head of the Yun family had a solemn and worried expression. Tian Yunji was the descendant of the Tian and Yun clan experts. It was rare for him to inherit two different bloodlines. Even in the Great Kingdom, his talent was one of the best. Perhaps only the Prince Jean of the royal family could surpass him. What will happen? The Yun family patriarch asked. The worst-case scenario is the collapse of one's consciousness, which is not much different from death. The probability of this happening is relatively high. The best outcome would be to rebuild after destruction and be reborn. However, the probability is very small. The white-haired old alchemist muttered. Is there no way to save it? There's basically nothing we can do. Even if a primal core realm venerate came personally, he wouldn't be able to turn the situation around. Unless a void god realm king appears. Apparently, a void god realm king's cultivation can reach a deeper level of the soul, and they can even travel the universe. The white-haired old apothecary shook his head. The Yun family patriarch couldn't help but feel a trace of bitterness at the corner of his mouth. Most of the 8 strongest forces in Canopy Great Country didn't have any sovereigns. As for void god realm kings, there was no need to even think about it. There might not be any on the continent. That's right, old patriarch. There was a mysterious sage in the 6 Warlock Tower who was well versed in astronomy, geography, divination, medicine, and spell formations. Supposedly, even a venerable from one of the 10 great sects, the Heavenly Origin sect, has paid a visit to him. One of the old alchemists suddenly asked. The sage of the 6 Warlock Tower. Are you talking about Empress Qin's teacher? The Yun family patriarch's eyes lit up. Even Empress Qin, who had the title of Empress Qin, was the disciple of that sage. From this, one could see how capable he was. But shortly after, the light in his eyes dimmed. He had heard of that sage before, and he spent most of his time traveling the world. Even in the 6 Warlock Tower, he didn't see any guests. No matter what, we have to try. Hopefully, with the combined power of the Tian and Yun families, we can invite that sage. If we can get Empress Qin to help, then our hopes will be higher. The Yun family patriarch's eyes became moist as he clenched his fists so hard that his nails almost dug into his palms. The elders next to him were silent. Not many people knew that the Yun family patriarch was Tian Yunji's great-grandfather. Even Tian Yunji himself didn't know that his mother had passed away, and this was the first time he had come to the Yun family. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Chapter of the Iron Blood Religion. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and the qi of true spirit within his body flowed smoothly. The qi of true spirit was in a liquid form and was even more condensed. There was a spring in his dantian, which was the source of true spirit of those at the true spirit realm. Different true spirit realms had different sizes of their source of true spirit. If the source of true spirit of those at the true human rank was a bowl of water, then those at the true mystic rank were a tub of water. The strongest true Lord rank's source of true spirit could be considered a tub of water. The difference between the 3 was extremely large. This was especially true for those at the true Lord rank. Their every action could create unparalleled power. With Zhao Feng's current strength, he could still fight against those at the true mystic rank, such as the Yun family patriarch. Those at the true mystic rank were several times stronger than the Yun family patriarch. Zhao Feng probably wouldn't even have the ability to fight back against the Water Moon Pirate. As for those at the true Lord rank, such as the Flooding Lake City Lord or the Deputy Patriarch of the Iron Blood Religion, they could kill those at the true human rank with just a finger. Luckily, Zhao Feng was under the protection of the Iron Blood Religion and didn't need to worry about the Flooding Lake City Lord finding him for revenge. My source of true spirit has started to form and has been consolidated. The next step is to refine and expand it. Zhao Feng inspected the source of true spirit in his dantian. His source of true spirit was dark azure and crackled with lightning. If he didn't restrain it, he would release a destructive aura that would make nearby beings feel uneasy. Once he had entered the true spirit realm, he would no longer be mortal. Zhao Feng's state of existence far surpassed normal beings, and his source of true spirit could communicate with the heaven-earth yuan qi and absorb it to a certain degree. Amongst them, the lightning yuan qi was the most compatible with Zhao Feng and was the easiest to absorb. Next was wind, water, fire. The others were all blurry and couldn't be absorbed. Next. As long as Zhao Feng strengthened his source of true spirit, he would be able to reach the early stages of the true human rank. Normal true human rank cultivators would need at least half a year to 2 to 3 years to reach the early stages without any bottlenecks. However, from the early stages to the late stages was difficult and required time, luck and talent. From the late stages to the peak stages was the same, it was a small realm. The peak stages of the true human rank was the same as Blood Fiend and the Fan-Flying Bandit. At this level, one could try to break through to the second realm of the true spirit realm, the true mystic rank. The true mystic rank was a relatively large threshold and required one to communicate with the heaven-earth and form their own root of law. I have the mystic flower saint liquid from the water-moon treasury which can help those at the true spirit realm comprehend the heaven-earth and form their root of law. This will increase the chances of reaching the true mystic rank by 30%. Zhao Feng's heart moved. The mystic flower saint liquid was a treasure that Zhao Feng had obtained from the water-moon treasury and came from the 3rd floor of the purple copper coffin. Thinking about it now, in terms of value, the mystic flower saint liquid was comparable to the water-moon god peach fan. If this liquid was put up for auction in the Rising Dragon auction, who knew what price it would fetch? After half a month of consolidation, Zhao Feng came out of seclusion and asked about the matters of the chapter. Currently, the Thousand Water Division had dominated an area, and there were many small families, small forces, and scattered experts that had come to join them. Blood Fiend and Qin Mengzhen, the 2 vice-chapter leaders, were extremely busy. Zhao Feng, the chapter leader, spent most of his time in seclusion and didn't ask about matters. Zhao Feng didn't even receive those at the true spirit realm who came to visit. Chapter leader, you've finally come out. Blood Fiend, Qin Mengzhen, and the other upper echelon immediately came over to report some important matters. Now that the Iron Blood chapter controlled the Thousand Water River, there were still many problems that needed to be solved. The leader of the Severed Blood Pirates, the Severed Blood Bald Eagle, says that he knows the chapter leader and was once a brother of the chapter leader. He wants to see you and get an upper echelon position in the Iron Blood religion. The demonic Yin King of Mount Chi Wu has reached the true mystic rank and has a feud with the Flooding Lake City Lord. He's heard of the chapter leader's talent and wants to invite you to the mountain for a drink. Apparently, he has a daughter who's as pretty as a flower and wants to. There's a famous Taoist called the 8 Trigrams Immortal who once divined the fortune of the Canopy Great Country's emperor. He says that you have the aura of a true dragon and wants to help the chapter leader rule the world. At this point in time, all sorts of matters were sent to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng couldn't help but rub his forehead and furrow his eyebrows. If there's no life or death situation, help me reject any invitations. He waved his hand and threw all the matters to the vice-chapter leader, elder, and the upper echelon. After calming his heart, Zhao Feng said to Dai Yi, I have a letter here that needs to be sent to Taigon Master and ask him to come and forge a weapon for me. Taigon Master. He's a famous blacksmith master and an honorary elder of the headquarters. I'll send someone to deliver the letter but I can't guarantee that he'll come. Dai Yi said solemnly. My relationship with Taigon Master isn't bad. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. The reason he wanted to ask Taigon Master was because he wanted to forge a long-range weapon or use the 5-elemental piercing crystal and 5-elemental primal crystal to increase the power of the Luoho Bao. Apart from that, the water moon god Peach Fan had 7 small interspatial compartments that could store powerful weapons according to his needs. After these matters were done, Zhao Feng went back into seclusion. The merging of the essence of the mystic flower treasured Bible was a long and slow process. Flooding Lake City, City Lord Palace. City Lord, the news is accurate. Zhao Feng has become the Iron Blood Religion Division leader and has swept across the Thousand Water River area and even defeated the number 1 genius of the main Tian family, Tian Yunji. A dim shadow finished reporting and disappeared in a flash. The Flooding Lake City Lord stood with his hands behind his back. His expression was dark and his eyes were like the endless night sky with a silver and red flame burning within. After a while he turned and asked behind him, Xin, what do you think? Schwa. A beautiful figure dressed in a snow-white veil was as elegant as a fairy, as if she had walked out from a landscape painting. I've decided to participate in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. Lu Qinxin gritted her teeth as a ripple appeared in her beautiful eyes. Hee, with your bloodline and hidden strength, you'll be hard to find a match in the younger generation of the great country. It's time for you to walk out of the great country and the northern continent and enter the stage of the True Dragon continent. The Flooding Lake City Lord laughed. Chapter 324. Lu Qinxin's change made the Flooding Lake City Lord happy but also slightly surprised. His daughter, whether it was in terms of talent, bloodline, beauty, or talent, she was the best in the world. On the surface, the Flooding Lake City Lord was the genius of the Flooding Lake Lu family in the past 1,000 years. However, only the Flooding Lake City Lord knew that his daughter's talent and potential were all above his. However, after her mother and master passed away one after another, Lu Qinxin gradually became indifferent to the ways of the world. Her state of mind became tranquil and quiet, and she didn't like to fight. Who made you change your mind? Is it because of that ungrateful brat? The Flooding Lake City Lord couldn't help but be curious. No. Xin, saw master not long ago. Lu Qinxin smiled. Ever since Xiao Feng ran away from the marriage, it was rare to see such a smile on her face. Master? You mean the 6 Warlock Divine Sage? The Flooding Lake City Lord's expression finally changed. The 6 Warlock Divine Tower's knowledge was as vast as the ocean and was proficient in divination. Even Empress Qin was his disciple. Several months ago, the Flooding Lake City Lord had asked to see the sage and asked him to find out where Xiao Feng had escaped to. However, the Flooding Lake City Lord didn't get what he wanted. Master found that some of the stronger inheritances in the sacred True Dragon Gathering, such as the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, have a 10% chance of connecting to the Azure Flower Continent, and this chance is still increasing. He also said that the Azure Flower Continent will soon welcome a great change and told me to grasp this chance. Lu Qinxin's eyes flashed with unprecedented expectation. Heaven's Legacy inheritance. More than 10% chance. The Flooding Lake City Lord was shocked. Everyone knew that the Heaven's Legacy inheritance was the most ancient and mysterious inheritance in the world. However, the chance of the Heaven's Legacy inheritance connecting to the Azure Flower Continent was extremely small. It would usually happen every 10,000 years or so. Overall, it was 1 in 1,000. After all, the sacred True Dragon Gathering was once every 10 years. This time, the 6 Warlock Divine Sage found that although the chance of the Heaven's Legacy inheritance appearing was only 10%, it was 100 times more than normal. Xin, you must grab hold of this opportunity. It's hard to get a chance like this even after dozens of eras. Every time the Heaven's Legacy inheritance appears, the situation of the continent will change. We can predict that our era will surpass the era of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The Flooding Lake City Lord couldn't help but be excited. The Heaven's Legacy inheritance only appeared once every 10,000 years, and the lifespan of normal cultivators at the True Spirit Realm was only a few hundred years. In the face of tens of thousands of years, even sovereigns of the Primal Core Realm were insignificant. The Flooding Lake City Lord had participated in the sacred True Dragon Gathering twice and had reached the top 100. However, in the past 100 years, the sacred True Dragon Gathering hadn't sent any powerful inheritances. Father, don't celebrate too early. This is just a divination. When the time comes, it might not necessarily be the Tianji inheritance. Lu Qinxin smiled. Northern Continent, Tianyuan Sect. At the peak of a vast sea of clouds, the mountains were majestic and endless. Beneath the layer of clouds, some palaces and halls could be faintly seen. They had an ancient charm and heavenly fragrance, and red-crowned cranes and spirit birds were wandering about in the sky. It was quiet and tranquil, like a paradise in a painting. At this moment in time, dozens of clan disciples were gathered on one of the peaks. Their cultivations were all at least at the half-step true spirit realm, and more than half were at the true human rank. The one in the lead was a silver-robed youth. He was handsome and extraordinary, standing out from the crowd. His eyes seemed to flash with a godly light, and with every breath, his chi of true spirit connected to the mysteries of heaven and earth, creating an invisible pressure that was enough to make normal true mystic ranks change their expressions. The crowd of disciples glanced at him with great respect, as if this man possessed the power of a god. He was the head disciple of the heavenly Yuan clan, Mo Tianyi. Great Luo Ring Blade. A blue-robed youth at the late stages of the true human rank roared and slashed out with the blade in his hand. Although it didn't contain any blade intent, the power of the blade was comparable to Tian Yunji's. If this blade was taken head-on, it would be able to heavily injure normal true human ranks. Heaven's Shifting Mountain. The silver-robed Mo Tianyi's expression was calm as he swiped his hand, and an orange light pierced through the blue-robed youth's great Luo ring. When the giant blade light that could shake mountains suddenly shattered and moved towards the blue-robed youth. Wah! The blue-robed youth instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. It was as if he had slashed in the air and injured himself instead. Hee hee. Luo Jin, if you comprehended blade intent you might be able to fight me, but even if you reach the true mystic rank you won't be my match. Mo Tianyi shook his head and smiled. Brother Mo's Yuan Mountain Great Secret Technique is indeed worthy of being one of the strongest spiritual grade skills of the clan. Even some true lord ranks can't comprehend it. It's hard to find a second person with such comprehension in the northern continent of the same generation. That's right, Brother Mo suppressed his cultivation to the same level and defeated his opponent in one move. This time Brother Mo will at least reach the top 10 in the Sacred True Dragon Gathering and might even reach the top 3. The elite disciples on the peak discussed, and some of the youths were full of admiration. Mo Tianyi slowly took back his hand and said, I wasn't even the head disciple in the last Sacred True Dragon Gathering and barely made it into the top 30. In the entire northern continent, only 3 people made it into the top 20. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering was held once every 10 years as long as one's age didn't exceed 50. For those at the True Spirit Realm, 50 years was only 1/6 of their life, and they still had a lot of room to grow. 10 years ago, Mo Tianyi wasn't even 20 and had such achievements. It was hard to imagine how much he had grown in another 10 years. Being one of the 10 great clans, the Heavenly Yuan clan has 10 recommended spots for each Sacred True Dragon Gathering. The competition for 10 spots is too intense. Our Heavenly Origin sect has more than 1,000 inner court disciples and dozens of true disciples. Although the disciples on the peak were all elites, many of them still had worried expressions. Mo Tianyi's eyes scanned over the disciples and suddenly landed on an intelligent girl. The young girl wore a light purple dress that resembled smoke. Her clear eyes were like translucent crystals, and her beautiful face was like perfect snow porcelain. Her entire body was suffused with a strange luster, as if she was a beauty made of ice and jade. She stood in the crowd. She wasn't the tallest, but she was delicate and elegant. Any young man who looked at her face would be dazed. Sister Yufei, I haven't seen you spar with others recently. But with your strength, you should be able to get a spot. Mo Tianyi rarely spoke to someone. He was the head disciple of the Heavenly Yuan clan, and there were only 1 or 2 of the 10 great clans in the entire northern continent. There was also the Mystic Ice clan in the extreme northern continent, which was also one of the 10 great clans. Therefore, Mo Tianyi stood at the peak of the younger generation of the northern continent. This Xiao Yufei rarely shows herself. Apparently, she's a genius recommended by the 3 Yuan clan. Apparently, her talent is extremely good and her bloodline is unique. She was taken in as a disciple by a sovereign at the Origin Core realm and rarely shows herself. She's extremely mysterious. Many elite disciples of the Heavenly Yuan clan looked at this mysterious and beautiful girl. In this generation of the Heavenly Yuan clan, only Mo Tianyi and Zhao Yufei had been taken in as disciples by a sovereign. I've been comprehending a secret technique and receiving pointers from Master. I'm afraid I don't have the right to participate in the sacred True Dragon gathering. Zhao Yufei's voice was gentle and polite. Sister Yufei is too humble. Who would dare look down on a disciple of a sovereign? Mo Tianyi's voice was filled with curiosity. This Zhao Yufei had entered the Heavenly Yuan clan a year ago and was only at the half-step True Spirit realm. How long had it been, and now she had reached the late stages of the true human rank and could be ranked in the top 10 of the core disciples. This terrifying advancement might be related to her unique bloodline. Furthermore, after reaching the True Spirit realm, the chi of True Spirit within her body became more and more unfathomable. Of course, Mo Tianyi, who stood at the peak of the younger generation of the northern continent, didn't need to fear any geniuses. His true opponents were the strongest geniuses of the middle, western, eastern and southern continents as well as the disciples of a few sovereigns. Zhao Yufei had a smile in her eyes and didn't ask to spar. Following that, one or two core disciples at the true human rank gathered their courage and sparred with her. Zhao Yufei's cultivation technique appeared to be as smooth as flowing water. All of her movements and moves had a pleasing feeling to the eye. Even if the chi of True Spirit exploded, it was still simple in her hands. The first early stage true human rank was defeated by Zhao Yufei in 10 moves. The second late stage true human rank was defeated in 20 moves. From the looks of it, Zhao Yufei had the upper hand. At the same time, on an even higher mountain peak in the distance, a white-robed old Taoist with a sage-like demeanor and a stalwart purple-robed man were watching the group of disciples sparring with each other. Mo Tianyi has reached the early stages of the true mystic rank after a few years and his Yuan Mountain Great Secret technique has reached the 7th level. He's much better than last time. Looks like he still has a chance to reach the top 10 this time. Whether or not he can reach the top 3 will depend on his improvement in the next half a year and the fortune of our sect. The white-robed Taoist smiled and didn't give off any true force. This Zhao Yufei's bloodline inheritance isn't normal. You've just returned to the Azure Flower continent and you've picked up such a jade. The purple-robed male's voice was low and slow. Although he was right in front of them, his figure gave off a blurry feeling. Her bloodline is extremely compatible with the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi and can even absorb the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi. I've been looking through the 10,000 ancient races and her bloodline inheritance seems to be related to an almost extinct race. The white-robed Taoist suddenly took a deep breath with a solemn expression. 10,000 ancient races. The purple-robed male was shocked for the first time. Any bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races can be traced back to the ancient era. Even the bloodline of a void god realm king can't be compared. The 10,000 ancient races was just a legend even for sovereigns at the Origin Core realm. It belonged to the era of legends, and it was too far away. Even if she only has a faint bloodline of the 10,000 ancient races, her future is limitless and can change the entire continent. The white-robed Taoist's voice trembled with excitement. Chapter 325. The 10,000 ancient races list the 10,000 races of the ancient era and is too far away from the present. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of power this bloodline will have after it awakens. The purple-robed male revealed a faint smile. Bloodlines would awaken and reverse the ancestor's bloodline as the owner's cultivation increased and there would even be rare mutations. Reverse the ancestor's bloodline was the ability of the ancestor's bloodline. For example, If the ancestor was a full god sovereign martial emperor, as the bloodline reverted, the descendants would have the same or similar bloodline abilities as the ancestor. However, after countless generations of inheritance, the bloodline of the later generations was very thin. Whether it was Zhao Yufei, Lu Qinxin, Ao Yuetian, or even the Flooding Lake City Lord, their bloodlines were extremely thin and were usually less than 100th or even 1,000th of the ancestor's bloodline. If the ancestor was too old, it wouldn't even be 100th of 1,000th. From this, one could see how strong one would be if they could reverse the ancestor's bloodline to 1/10th, 1/5th, or even half. Right now, Yufei's bloodline needs to be evaluated. Her specialty is that her compatibility with the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi is extremely high and her body can easily absorb the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi. Other than the high purity of her true power, and the quick congealing and explosion, she has another advantage, and that is her unparalleled training speed. The white-robed Taoist smiled faintly. Her speed is indeed fast, much faster than Tian Yi. However, in terms of cultivation speed, Yu Tianhao from the Middle Continent has already reached the peak true mystic rank before the age of 30 and is known as the #1 genius of the continent. Even the Scarlet Moon Religion Patriarch and Sword Saint Yi Wuxie can't be compared to him at the same time. One has to know that the further one goes, the slower one's progress becomes. The purple-robed man didn't think so. The higher one's cultivation, the more bottlenecks there were and the longer it took to break through. After the true human rank, even geniuses needed a few years to break through. After the true human rank, it was normal for it to take dozens of years. From the looks of it, Yu Tianhao's cultivation speed was at least 2 to 3 times that of Zhao Yufei. Yu Tianhao's grandfather and grandmother are both at the origin core realm and there was even a void god realm king among them. The white-robed Taoist couldn't help but shake his head. He was the prodigy of heaven from the moment he was born and received the best resources. Compared to him, Yufei has only been in the heavenly Yuan clan for a short time. Moreover, as my bloodline ability awakened, my compatibility with the world's origin energy continues to increase. My cultivation is also improving day by day. It's still increasing. The blurry purple-robed figure was finally surprised. Some of the top geniuses would increase their cultivation speed by leaps and bounds, reaching the true spirit realm in their teens. However, the early stages of advancement were too fast, and many of the later stages were insufficient. A single realm could be stagnant for decades, or even half a lifetime. I've asked around. Yufei has been cultivating in a place with sparse resources and primal qi since she was young. Her initial progress was slow and difficult. But everything has its pros and cons. There's also a huge advantage, and that is that their foundations are abnormally solid. Geniuses that come from these remote regions usually have very strong stamina. There was an indescribable wisdom in the seemingly turbid eyes of the white-robed old Taoist. The mysterious wisdom. Across the azure flower continent, the northern continent, the middle continent, the western continent, the eastern continent and the extreme north, many powerful forces were preparing for the sacred True Dragon Gathering. There weren't many participants in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. The Canopy Great Country also only had 10 spots. The vast Canopy Great Country also only had 10 spots. Normal strong countries only had 2 spots. Far away in the cloud area. After the 13 clans surrendered, the 13 countries became part of the Iron Dragon Strong Country. Broken Moon Clan, Sky Moon Mountain. Within the Clan Master's Palace. This is a spiritual explosion pill that I spent a lot of effort to obtain. Although its effect is a bit weaker than the shedding spiritual pill and has a lot of side effects, with the help of this pill, you still have a chance to reach the true spirit realm. A smile appeared on Hai Yun Master's handsome face. Beimoi stood in front of him with hesitation and struggle. Although he was at the half-step true spirit realm, the chance of him reaching the true spirit realm was small unless he used outside help. However, the 13 countries were lacking in resources and it was hard for a second shedding spiritual pill to appear. This spiritual explosion pill had a certain effect on reaching the true spirit realm but had a lot of side effects. Eating this pill could cause one's dantian to explode and even cause one's body to explode. Do you want to stay in the cloud area forever? Now that the cloud area has become part of the Iron Dragon Strong Country, as long as you reach the true spirit realm, you'll have a chance to enter the sacred true dragon gathering. Hai Yun Master gazed at Bei Moi, the most talented genius in the Broken Moon clan. A year ago, Bei Moi had surpassed Yang Gan and became the head disciple. Sacred True Dragon Gathering. Bei Moi's fists were clenched and his body trembled. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering was the stage of the entire continent. Compared to it, the cloud area was just a small village. Only strong countries have a recommendation. If the Iron Dragon Strong Country doesn't rule here, you won't even have the chance to compete. Hai Yun Master handed the spiritual explosion pill to Bei Moi. From the disciple's eyes, it could be seen that he was moved and couldn't resist the temptation. Bei Moi had been a prodigy since he was young and didn't want to fall behind. After the 13 Clan Alliance banquet, he trained even harder and was one of the top geniuses in the 13 clans. One reason was because he had increased in leaps and bounds. On the other hand, many of the top geniuses such as Zhang Yuyue, Lin Tong, Zhao Feng, Ao Yuetian, and Zhao Yufei had left the 13 countries. If Bei Moi could take a big step forward, he would be a top genius even in the Iron Dragon Strong Country. This spiritual explosion pill is extremely dangerous. Out of 10 people who take this pill, 5 will explode and die. The rest will break their meridians and become cripples. Bei Moi, whether you're a dragon or a snake will depend on your luck. Hai Yun Master inspected the direction Bei Moi left in and his expression became cold. Broken Moon Clan. In another mountain, First Elder's Palace. Gone, your cultivation has stopped at the peak 7th sky. This bottleneck might last you for several years or even dozens of years. Instead of this, why don't you go to the outer disciples? First Elder said. Disciple will listen to Master's arrangements. Yang Gan said solemnly. He also found that it was normal for his cultivation to be stuck at a bottleneck for several years or even 10 years. The Sacred True Dragon Gathering will start in half a year and with your strength, you definitely don't have the right to participate. However, you can observe the Sacred True Dragon Gathering and maybe it'll be beneficial. First Elder suggested. The Iron Dragon Strong Country only had 2 spots for the Sacred True Dragon Gathering and Yang Gan definitely had no hope. Disciple is willing. This is the pinnacle gathering of the continent and even if Disciple has a slim chance of survival, I'll go and see it. Yang Gan understood that it was extremely dangerous to travel across the continent. Only those at the true spirit realm were geniuses like Zhao Feng, Zhang Yuyue, and Lin Tong had a high chance of success. Although the Sky Cloud Forest is at the edge of the northern continent and is relatively close to the middle continent, with your speed, you won't be able to reach it even in 1 or 2 years. You might even die on the way. First Elder laughed lightly. This. Yang Gan was dejected. Only those at the true spirit realm with a good flying beast would be able to reach the middle continent in half a year. I've already arranged for a good friend at the true spirit realm from the Iron Dragon Strong Country to take disciples to observe the Sacred True Dragon Gathering. He'll take you there. A letter appeared in First Elder's hand along with an interspatial bracelet which he handed over to First Disciple. Yang Gan was overjoyed as he took the item and found that the interspatial bracelet was filled with primal crystal stones and spiritual pills. He was extremely grateful. Sending Yang Gan off with his eyes, First Elder's eyes became slightly moist. Gan, don't blame me for being selfish. The reason why First Elder took Yang Gan to observe the Sacred True Dragon Gathering was because he had a sliver of hope in his heart. Northern Continent. One of the 3 great countries, Canopy Great Country. Thousand Water River, Iron Blood Religion Chapter. Zhao Feng opened his eyes from seclusion and the faint blue coldness in his left eye became deeper. In his mind, the faint blue pond extended by 1 foot and 3 inches. The coldness on his face was stronger than before. After the second evolution of the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng's personality became colder and colder. With a sweep of his left eye, even experts at the true human rank would feel coldness and pressure. After reaching the true spirit realm, the power of Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye increased day by day. Right now, Zhao Feng was confident that most people at the true human rank would find it hard to block his eye bloodline, whether it be mental energy illusions or mental energy attacks. Apart from that, the source of true spirit within his body had completely consolidated and was comparable to some early-stage true human ranks. It was even purer and purer. What no one knew was that Zhao Feng still had the water-moon pirate source of true spirit sealed within him. The sealing technique came from the Heaven's Legacy inheritance and existed in a special form. If I don't have enough true spirit, I can use the water-moon pirate source of true spirit to increase my own strength. Zhao Feng felt the source of true spirit that far surpassed his own. This meant that Zhao Feng had 2 sources of true spirit within his body. This was his advantage. Under normal situations, the water-moon pirate source of true spirit could only be used to replenish Zhao Feng's source of true spirit. This source of true spirit's element had been changed by the water-moon pirate and could be used by most bodies. However, Zhao Feng had comprehended the mystic flower treasured Bible, and with his god's spiritual eye's control, he could use this source of true spirit. After all, the water-moon pirate source of true spirit was condensed from the mystic flower treasured Bible. This source of true spirit will decrease the more I use it. I can't use it unless I'm in danger or at a critical moment. Zhao Feng retracted his god's spiritual eye. Shua! A slender and delicate figure flashed in. Chapter Leader, a letter personally written by the Deputy Patriarch. Dai Yi handed over a letter. Zhao Feng opened it and a light flashed in his eyes. Head to the capital within a month to compete for the sacred true dragon gathering spots. The entire Canopy Great Country only has 10 spots. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.